my God. It's the beginning of the year, but we're doing the end of the year because we are on CPT. I hope this is going on Patreon. I wasn't even trying to do that. That was all improvised, by the way. Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody. We are not your average netizens. And, um, the place where we discuss all the hot button topics of K-pop and the K-pop industry, along with Korean entertainment and East Asian or Southeast Asian entertainment as well. I am Nat, and I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts Ash and Jimin.
Hello,
Hello.
Jimmy with the
And
G.
with a G. And yes, we are here to talk about 2023 because hear me out now. The only way to make proper resolutions in 2024 is if you look back on 2023 and you see the best and the worst of it to determine what you should do best in 2024 with your resolutions. So,
Nat, what are you talking about? She just made that up, but I appreciate the effort. It's actually a very strong effort, and I could not agree more. I think 2023 was a wild year for so many reasons
yes,
that it would be kind of awkward if we didn't look back on it, even though it's already January 7th. But we we don't speak on that.
exactly. Exactly. And you know, we are going to have a good time because I feel like our responses are going to be really interesting about when it comes to like the best and the worst of 2023. I will say a warning in the beginning, guys. Stray Kids will be mentioned because how could it not? So, if you're a Stray Kids fan, please don't take it personal. You're not in
Has
Stray Kids.
there been?
Why would you?
I feel like has there been a year where we haven't mentioned Stray Kids since we started
Probably
doing this?
not.
That's just look. That just goes to show you the love and dedication that we have.
Exactly. Exactly. So let us start at the top with all of the categories that are, I guess we'll just go in order for the list. So
Yeah.
these are the NYAN Awards 2023. And the
Ooh.
first category is
Wait, should we say all the categories first,
no,
and
I
then
think we should go through them like as we go through them so
as we
people
go?
feel
Okay,
like yeah.
fine. I
Okay.
look. I love it.
All right. So, best choreography. What do you guys think was the best choreography for 2023?
So, mine is kind of a hot take because it's actually quite disrespectful. Because the best choreography I chose is actually a TikTok dance, and it's only like a 10-second dance, but it is the best thing I've seen in 2023.
Okay.
And that has to be TXT's TikTok challenge sort of thing, whatever they want to call it, to Happily Ever After, that they ended up turning into an actual choreography when they performed the song.
Okay. Well, I have to
I
check it
would
out.
like
I
to
have
show y'all.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
would
have no
probably
idea what
be
that
good
is.
if we could like show each other. Didn't we say we were going to do that?
I don't
Like literally
know.
right before we hit record, we were like, "Oh yeah, we can just look at these things when we go through."
Yeah. I mean, if you have the video, I don't mind taking a
It's
look at
short.
that. Yeah. Yeah, and it's on TikTok, so it should be short. But yeah, we can definitely take a look because I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's not super popular. They did it with a couple of the BTS members,
Mm,
which is
of
like
course.
why I think it kind of became a. I don't think it was meant to be a challenge, but anyway, should we put it in a watch together or what?
Yes, that would probably be
Okay,
best if it
that
wasn't
would
a
be
watch party.
best. That would be best. But while I'm pulling that up,
Yeah.
you guys can do your favorite
Yeah.
choreography of the year.
Ash, who did you pick?
So I picked Do Not Touch by Misamo. I mean, honestly, it was overall like one of my favorite just performances because I just feel like I have kind of fallen off of K-pop choreography in general, but I did like it. I felt like it was subtle. There wasn't too much hand choreography, like you tend to see. I don't know. I just fit the song really well. And it was just really nice, and I understated, and the girls were able to execute it well. So that was my choice.
Yeah, no, I think that was a good option because I love the like, but you can watch me, can't touch me. That Momo says, like, that's my one of
Mhm.
my favorite parts of the song, and I like how the choreography works with that. That would have been my choice if Lee Seraphim had not released an MV for Eve Psyche and the Bluebird's wife. I'm sorry, like that. I'm a mess, 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 and like the dancing, everything. Like, listen, these girls are all main characters, and they're given that energy every time they dance. So I respect it, and the choreography is really. I think it's like really catchy. Like if you
Mm.
watch them perform it enough, you will probably start doing the same moves that they're doing, you know, in that sense.
Hmm.
So yeah, I like that. And I also picked Taemin for the Riznas because did you see the MV?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he's insane for that. So that's why.
Wait, I didn't. Now I feel like I gotta watch it. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Continue. Sorry. Sorry.
Oh no, no, that's. I mean, it's just really impressive. I mean, it's Taemin, so I think like it doesn't matter what song it is, the choreography is going to be probably one of the best for the year if you don't consider it to be the best. But yeah, I did think that the MV for the Riznas itself was just really cool, like really, really cool. So, and apparently he at his concert he started that performance, like he started the concert with that song, and he was like upside down, like entering the stage or some shit like that. So I mean, it's epic. It's Taemin.
Yeah.
So
No, the upside down was wild.
yeah,
Like that was wild. Wait, I put the watch together in here so we
okay.
can watch a couple of the killing parts of the choreographies. I also want to add two more because I'm a child. I want to add TXT's chasing that feeling. This is actually probably my favorite one. I don't even know why I didn't say this one, but chasing that feeling. Fuck,
Oh,
sorry. Chasing that feeling. There's a Vogue breakdown,
okay.
Yeah. And then I also want to add one more, and that is TXT's TXT's Sugar Rush Ride, the killing part, because that choreography was so unexpected. Nobody expected them to do something like that. So first we'll do Happily Ever After, which is just a fun one. They slowed it. Wait, why does it say dance mirrored slow? Okay, well, let's click it. Oh, it really is slow. Why they slow it? Wait, how do we get to
Maybe
the okay, oh wait,
maybe because
no,
they
okay.
want.
Here it is. Here it
Okay.
is. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, okay, here we go. It's so stupid. I love it.
Yeah, I can see why people liked it though, and why people like would make like be I guess be so into it that they would then create actual choreography around it. Because that's
Yeah,
actually one of the TikTok dance. What I respect about that though is that like I think a lot of times in the TikTok era, these choreographers sort of dumb down the choreography so that they can cut piece of it off to use for a TikTok challenge. Whereas this was already just created for TikTok, so it's already like simple and fun, and then they sort of created a choreography around it, which they could, you know, make it more, I guess, stronger choreography because TXT doesn't really do weak choreography anyway. So,
that's true.
yeah, I
Yeah.
like that because then like, yeah, that's more of an like I would expect that type of thing to be on TikTok versus like some of the choreography that people are doing in their actual group, like their
Like,
music
oh my
videos.
god,
Like you're kind
yeah,
of like
like
people used to dance. Those are yes, those are the better
the killing
choreographies for this
parts.
year. Okay, so
Fun. Okay, I
now
like that.
that we talked about the best
Hmm.
choreography, let's talk about the worst
Should we all say it
choreography.
on three, or are we not on the same page?
We're probably not on the same
I don't
page.
think we are.
Okay, so all right, cool, good to know. All right, so who had the worst choreography for you, Nat?
This is very unpopular. I know it is, but I'm sorry. I think New Jeans choreography is weird. So, yeah, I picked it.
Interesting. Like just
I picked
all of
it.
the choreography or a specific song?
I just think that it's very unique to them, and I commend them, for what they're doing. But it's just like a lot of it. I look at it, I'm just like, what? Who created this? Like this is so
Mm,
specific to you as a popular group that as soon as you're not popular, no one's gonna be like doing this. One and two, it's like it's not something that takes skill. It's like a lot of it is just them being cute. So Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
I will say that I don't know if Hype Boy came out last year or 2022, but I didn't like the choreography to that as much as everybody else did. I think it looks
yeah,
awkward on I think it looks awkward for anybody who does it because Yeonjun did it, and I was like, it looked kinda awkward.
yeah. I just think that a lot of it is just really awkward and weird. Like it. I don't know. Maybe I prefer like more structured choreography stuff
I have
that's
to
easy
say,
to
I
follow.
saw like a cover group of guys do was it
Super shy.
super
Super
shy,
Shy?
Yeah.
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I liked the way that they interpreted it. I don't remember how New Jeans performed it, but they added like they had like voguing and stuff in the song, and I don't know. I liked the choreography when they did it, but I can understand in general like it's not really complicated or I don't know structured. It's just kind of like cutesy movements a lot of the time.
Mm.
Yeah. I just think like a lot of times you notice that like K-pop idols don't really like a lot of their cutesy choreography from the beginning of their career, and that's
Yep.
literally all of New Jeans. So like in 10 years, are they even
Mm.
gonna want to do this stuff? You know what I
They
mean?
gonna
Like
be
that's their new.
embarrassed.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, and also too, I did not like Super Shy. Like I think for me the best one, I didn't mind Ditto so much. I didn't like Cool with You because I don't even know why that song has choreography. But I think ETA, I think ETA was one of the ones where I was just like, this is awful. Like, what are we even doing? The one with at the beach party, and they're doing it with the phone. It's like a phone advert, really, at the same time. So like the POV changes based, but they also had a storyline going on. It was very weird. Yeah, I just did not like it. Sorry. What about you guys?
So, for me, I got 2 answers.
Mhm.
I know that's illegal, but it's okay. The first answer is no, I'm not. You know what? I got one answer. Can y'all go to the watch together because this is a choreography. I didn't see the whole choreography, but I seen the killing
Interesting.
part, obviously. And I just want you to notice. I feel like okay, never mind. We're just gonna play it because I think that Yeonjun kills this choreography. But why am I forcing y'all to watch this?
The guy who's not him is literally just it's all leg. I'm sorry.
You mean Subin? Yeah. Subin, this is not Subin's lane. Okay. Subin is
Okay,
a very conservative girly. Okay. He don't
it was
be
all leg. I'm sorry.
but I hate this choreography. I think it's terrible.
Yeah,
And I think it says something the fact that the person who it's meant for looks the worst doing it.
yeah, absolutely.
And I
I
also wanted an excuse to show you Yeonjun popping his little booty. So
I figured that as much because I honestly I don't think I ever watched the MV for Gun or what the heck the song is called. So I've never actually seen it outside of the
the
TikTok
challenge.
challenges that I've seen from other people
Mhm.
with her. Because she did it with NCT Mark and Johnny, and she did it with
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah,
people.
but anyway, I just think that the choreo is really like try hard and
Yes,
it's dumb.
yeah.
And it only looks good when people are like not Jesse. That was terrible. Okay, I'm sorry. Ash. Worst choreography.
Okay, so I couldn't remember a lot, but I remembered that song by NCTU called Baggy Jeans and how much I hated it.
Oh, not packaging.
And I was like,
Yeah.
all I remember is those like empty jeans that was like dancing by
In my baggy, baggy,
themselves.
baggy, 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 baggy jeans.
So
My baggy,
that's
baggy,
what I
baggy, 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 baggy
chose.
jeans.
Did y'all see the painting of Jesus in the baggy jeans?
There was
No.
one in the MV. Oh,
No, somebody made like a Photoshop of Jesus in baggy jeans.
oh no. Here, I put the
You about to show the killing part?
yeah. Oh, I put this part first because I love 10 and I think he does a good
I
job
know.
there. But anyways, yeah, this is the
Oh yeah, this
yeah
choreo is terrible.
awful, awful, awful.
This is this is terrible. Ash didn't even know what the choreo looked like, and she knew it was bad. That's how you know.
All
That
right.
is so unfortunate. You could take
Yeah,
somebody as talented as 10 and put him in that nasty choreography. I am so sorry to you, Beyonce.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
And yeah, so next is best music video. This should have been probably at the end, no? I know, but anyways, we're here.
You did it. What you talking about?
No, I didn't. I just copied and pasted from the other years. So we actually have been doing this every year.
Hey, listen.
Anyways,
Okay.
yeah, so best
I already
music
know what I'm
video.
choosing.
All right, so Jimin. with a G.
Oh shit. Okay. I thought we was gonna go Ash first. Well, y'all, I'll put it on, play it on loop on mute and watch together. It's just on. You don't have to watch it. It's just playing on loop. But I think "Chasing That Feeling" by Two by Two
Hmm.
was probably the best music video I watched this year. Mostly because I thought it was innovative. Like it's actually different in terms of like it looks like Doctor. Do y'all remember the first Doctor Strange movie
Yes.
at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, it plays around with that. So I really like that effect. It looks super cool to me. I think the guys look pretty good, despite the fact, like, I think Yeonjun looks great, even though I have a lot of gripes with a couple things about him lately. But yeah, I just thought it was cool. And even though obviously there's a lot of CGI,
Hmm.
it looks a lot better than when SM does CGI.
Yeah, I think it was more seamless, like the CGI that they did. But Hybe also got money, so I mean, if they, you can't mix things improperly and then also make shitty music videos. You got to pick one. So I'm happy that they did a good job. But I also like the song, so I think that helps as well too.
Yeah. Okay.
Ash, what did you pick?
I picked. I don't know if you guys will remember it,
No,
What is
what?
it?
but it's "Top or Cliff" by Kim Sejong. It's the one where she was in the mansion and she
Oh
was killing all of those
yeah.
people.
Here, I'm
I
gonna put it
remembered
up.
that one, and
And
I'm
she was
gonna
like
put it
the
up.
assassin or something like that.
yeah,
Okay,
and it
this
was
this is
just
like a movie.
it
It
was
is.
It
It's
got
basically kind of a
Spanish
movie.
subtitles.
yeah.
Oh yeah, but I remember. You know what? I did like this one, but I think, or maybe I didn't like it that much. But I do remember feeling like at the end I didn't like it because I didn't understand it.
We didn't know what was going on. Yeah, we were very confused.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
it's
that's
cool looking though. It kind of reminds you of if you ever seen Old Boy or Parasite or any of those like really grungy looking Korean films. It was like that. And this scene right here with the elevator really reminds me of Old Boy because if you know anything about Old Boy, you know the hallway scene where he's going around just beating the mess out of
mm,
people. So yeah, it's
okay.
like a Bong Joon Ho,
Okay.
you know.
I mean, the only hallway scene I know is the one from Daredevil, the TV show, because I never watched Old Boy, but that's also very impressive. Oh, and the little girl with the
Yep.
gun. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Snap.
So I picked two as well. I picked Drama by Espa just because I love the like I just like the style of this with the colors and just like I don't know what's going on in the music video. I'll be honest, guys. I don't think they know what's going on in the music video either, so we're all on the same page with that. But I just like visually looking at it, especially like the scene in the chorus where Karina's fighting people and then like they automatically turn into like different members from her group, like when she takes their mask off or whatever after she stabs them. I don't know. I just think it looks like it reminds me of that movie
Bill.
Kill Bill, but also Frank Miller's
Sin
shoot
City.
Sin City. Yes, that's what it reminded me of
Oh,
as well
y'all
too,
real
just
old because I don't
aesthetically.
know what that is.
Yeah, just aesthetically, that's what it kind of reminds me of.
Mm.
So that's what I picked. But I also really like the Ivy MV for I Am. I think
I
mostly
also learned
because
that their name is Ive. Sorry, didn't
yeah.
mean to cut you off, but I
No,
learned
I mean
that
I know it's
anyway.
I be calling them Ivan Ivy. It's like Hybe and Hybe. You know, whatever I feel like
Oh
comes
yeah,
up, comes
that's
out.
true. That's true. Okay,
But
so
I
you
really
like
like this
this?
MV. I mean, I like the MV. It's a. I think it's more because it's not trying to tell me a story. It's literally
Mm,
just like six pretty girls singing a song, and they look stunning. Everything is just like them modeling and shit. Like I kind of like the simplicity of it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like sometimes people be doing too much with MVs to the point where you forget that it's for a song. Because you're just watching it. Like I
you mean
think, well, no. I was actually more thinking of Jungkook with like 7 Days. Like there's so much going on that 7 Day song or
Oh,
whatever it is.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
there's so much going
Yeah.
on in MV. I forgot it was an actual song. You know, like so I just like I feel like not only is this song like a return to just sort of like K-pop girl sounds, like a reminiscent of like Girls' Generation and like that era and stuff like that. I just think that MV is also reminiscent of that. You know, like we don't need a plot. We can just look pretty and be on planes. Hey, that's fine. But
Okay.
yeah, so that's for
Fun.
me. All right, so once we talk about the best MV, we have to talk about the worst MV. So Ash, what did you select for worst MV for 2023?
That would be macaroni cheese, macaroni cheese,
Oh, that was
macaroni
so
cheese
That's so bad.
by Young Posse.
Yeah, that was honestly, it was so bad that I totally forgot about it. Um, yeah, it was a very, very bad. And
I actually just changed my answer because I realized which one was the worst. It's actually two. For me, it's a tie. I don't remember the name of these songs, but when I describe them, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about.
okay,
Show Me One song where she decided she wanted to be black, and then XG song where they decided that it wasn't enough to be black; they had to be the most stereotypical version of black people. So both of them I thought were terrible.
The
so what you're
Sumi song
talking
is
about,
gold.
it's Gold, 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 which is
Yeah.
playing right now because she has grills. She's doing her best to channel Gwen Stefani, but not like charismatically.
And even Gwen
Unfortunately,
Stefani was on edge for us because even back then we was like, "What's she doing?" But
right,
you know,
right. In terms of like XG, I think you
y'all
mean
know which
maybe
one? Not left, right. The other one that just came out.
TGIF maybe.
I don't think it was this one. Or maybe.
Because that was the one after Left Right. Because Left Right and Shooting Star came out around the same time. So this I think was their,
Okay, maybe it's not the one just after left, right.
or maybe you're thinking of their live performance at Head in the Clowns.
No, no, no. There's another
Did they
one.
did
And
they have a song that just came out?
Well,
You
they
said?
have also after well, there's Puppet Show. I don't know if you meant Puppet Show. I liked Puppet Show though. I
XG.
didn't.
Hold
And there's
on. Maybe
NYAN.
is it not XG that I'm thinking of?
Maybe.
That would be crazy if it's not XG because I feel like I remember specifically we were watching it and we was having this conversation like, whoa, they decided to be extra black.
I thought it was more like their live at Head in the Clowns because they were like there was like a lot of videos going around of XG at Head in the Clowns and they were like, yeah, they were going real heavy and then Nega Core.
Okay, well, okay. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, listeners. I think I might be wrong. Maybe it's Shooting Star because I'm starting to look at it and the visuals are starting to look like what I was thinking about.
Okay, maybe. I like the song Shooting Stars. I can't really remember the
Yeah,
MV.
this because the song is good. So I don't think it's that because I remember this song too. The song that I'm thinking about that it was tied to not being that good. Yeah, I'm sorry, everybody. No,
Okay,
yeah, I'm sorry. I guess it was just So Me then,
yeah.
and then maybe it was another girl group. Then I don't know.
Okay. Well, I
Okay.
picked the video for Chill Kill from Red Velvet. It don't make no
I
sense.
thought you.
I love the song.
Okay.
The MV, I
All
just
right.
don't. I don't like the MV. Actually, it's one of the few K-pop songs where I never watched the MV. I only listen to the song because I like the song. The MV was so weird. Like Wendy killed that guy, they buried him, and then they burned down the house, and then the police surrounded them and they started dancing. Like,
Allegedly.
you're right. Allegedly, it was just really weird and bad. But anyways, let us get to the best soloist for 2023. Who did you guys select? Ash, Jimin? Whoever wants to go. Or I'll go. I can go. So I picked Jessica because Jessica did have a comeback. It was her like fourth album or something like that. I don't know. But anyways, Beep Beep was the title for this album, and I'm not a huge fan of Beep Beep. I'm not gonna lie, but I it has grown on me. But what I really, really love from this album is Get It, Got It Good featuring Amber from FX. I love Get It, Got It Good. I think that's one of the best songs of 2023. And there's some other songs on the album that were really good. But she's also on tour now, and she said she's promising to make more music. So I, as a Jessica Jung stan, I'm really excited to hear what else she comes up with. So yeah, and she works with Black people, Black writers and stuff who are actual friends of hers. So I like that. Anyways, yeah. What did you guys pick?
I picked someone that I'm not exactly a huge fan of, but I feel like he's been very consistent
Yeah.
in his
Do
work,
I know?
probably. And I don't know, I feel like compared to the other soloists, you can usually count on him to come out with a good release. So I picked Taman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I figured it was him, but you never know.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? Every year, Taman gets at least one vote. He's the only
Exactly.
person I think that gets that. Okay.
What
No,
did
that's a great choice.
Hmm.
who did
Um,
you pick, Jimin?
Mine is so controversial given who I am and what I stand for and the groups y'all know I like.
Okay.
So my best soloist of the year is one John Jungkook.
Oh,
Listen.
I was not expecting that, but okay.
Seven was a Boppington, and I thought Standing Next to You, even though I try my hardest not to listen to it, and even though for some reason YouTube is pushing the Jungkook propaganda, because I'll be having like just like a random playlist, or like I'll just be playing random songs and he'll just come up in my autoplay. And I'm like, okay, that seems a little bit suspicious, like
Yeah.
payola. But it is a good song, I have to admit. And even though most of the other songs on the album is either generic or not bops, I think that the two songs he had are the two strongest male soloist songs for me of the year that I liked. That's like probably one of my hottest takes. And that's probably like, that's a crazy opinion, but it's true. I can't help what I like. And I liked those two songs.
Yeah.
So Jungkook.
Okay. And with the best comes the worst. Dum dum dum. So, who do we think were the worst soloists for 2023? I'm
Very
actually
easy.
I'm keeping it buck. My worst selection is more from disappointment because I know this artist could do better, but it's actually Taeyeon from Girls' Generation, ex bandmate of Jessica, who wasn't the best. Because I look, I say what you want about Taeyeon as a person, I don't give a fuck, but her music is always really good for me. Like I always find at least one or two songs from every album that I listen to religiously, like Some Nights from INVU. Her first album was honestly like I can listen to it from beginning to end. And from I is it I? Yeah, I. And I don't even like I think I is a terrible ass song. But every other song on that EP is fantastic. I can, pick songs from every album that are stand worthy, okay? I waited a long time because INVU was her last album. That came out in 2022. So she hasn't even released music for almost going on 2 years at that point, okay? And she dropped 2X. And 2X was awful. Like I listened to it like 3 times to make sure I wasn't bugging because I was like, there's no way that there's not even like a good song on this album. Because even what do I call you had a good song on it. You know what I mean? And I wasn't like really into it as much. But I just did not like anything on it. And she's just not singing the way that she can sing. It's just very puzzling to me. I'm like, you can actually sing. You're a singer, and you're choosing not to sing anymore. I don't like it. I don't get it. Flop. So yes, that's my opinion on the worst soloist this year. What about you guys?
That's like a lot of passion, and I get it because that's your girl. I have no passion behind this, but John Somi just did not impress me. So we can just move on.
Yeah, we can because I agree with Jimin.
Oh wait, I thought Ash already went. I'm sorry.
No, no, it's good. I mean, you guys both had the same answer, so hey.
We should have said it together. Dang it.
Honestly, if I didn't pick Taeyeon, I probably would have picked John Somi. So there you go. Taeyeon's album came out in like October, November, so she came in a clutch to save John Somi from a three-peat. Okay, but anyways,
Not a three.
a hat trick, whatever you want to call it. She saved her. Okay, so anyways, let us get into the next category, which is best male group. This is hard for me, guys. This was so hard for me. I mean, it's probably very easy for Jimin, but like, Ash, why don't you go first? Ash, why don't you go first?
This was a really hard one for me because, like, I'm not really into guy groups like that.
Mhm.
And I don't really like pay much attention to their releases. So I tried to go by like whoever's output I kind of liked. So this group, I really liked their song that they released last year, like their single, and I liked the concept and the video and the choreography. So I was like, well, I'll just choose them as the best because they're the one that I remember the most. So I picked Tomorrow by Together.
Ah!
Look at God. I thought, you know what? Okay, to be honest, I thought she was gonna say TAN.
Oh, 10.
Don't
Yeah,
ask why.
I would have. You know what's
Listen,
funny? When she was
don't
talking,
ask
that's
why.
who actually came to mind as well. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah, yeah, but Ash is nothing if she's not a woman of taste. And so, listen.
Yeah.
I could just go on an entire diatribe about why Tomorrow by Together is single-handedly the most revolutionary fourth generation group out of them all. I could go on for hours and hours about how they paved the way. I could go on for hours and hours about their excellence, even though, let's be real, there's no singer in that group. But the fact is there's something about them that makes people want to listen to their music. Okay, I don't know what it is, but there's something about them that just draws you in. And you might think on the outside looking in, oh, that group, they make bops and stuff like that, but they not that interesting. They seem like shy little wallflowers. No, okay. You need to watch their lives. You need to really look at their interactions because they are so freaking funny and they are all very passionate about what they do. And on top of all of that, they are, I feel, very shady. They are probably the most shady group. They have shade for days. And those are all some of the reasons why I think they are best male group. Now, you may notice that I did not say anything about talent or music. That's because if I were to go off of that, then there's one other option for me that it will be very, I don't want to bring that option up because they disappointed me this year for something that they did outside of their talent. But I do think that TXT is probably the second most, like, in terms of making good music, they're the second most. I don't know what the word is that I'm gonna say after that, but just most. You know what I mean? So TXT, keep doing what y'all doing. We love to see it. It's just keep making bops. That's all I ask is, we need another 0 by 1 love song. Okay. Like we
Yeah.
need y'all to
I agree.
really continue to shake up the landscape for these fourth gen boy groups who don't know what they're doing. And even some of the third gen boy groups, because if you ask me, I don't understand why Stray Kids ain't in the military yet. I mean, it should have happened. But alas, here we are. So TXT, that's my
Yeah.
speech.
I will say that if this group had not had a comeback, my answer would either be TXT or the much maligned Hypen, just because I love Hypen, but I only liked their first release. And with TXT, I think I really liked the second release, and I was kind of ambivalent on the first one. So it was more of a tie in that situation for me. But
Okay, Nat, that's not true because I remember you specifically really liking Sugar Rush Ride and you like chasing that feeling. So anyway, we move. Continue.
I'm saying how I feel at the end of the year after I go back
Okay.
to the songs. You know what I mean? Because that's like the
Sure.
point of it, right? I go back to the song. Like initially, I like a lot of things initially, and then I don't,
Okay,
or
Nat.
things grow on me eventually. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
Anyways, but I picked Infinite because they did have a comeback
Oh.
this year. Infinite is a second gen boy group who had like a lot of hits including The Chaser, which was voted as like I think the second best K-pop song of like the 2010s. The Chaser is fantastic, but they also had, Paradise. We watched one of their MVs, the one where they were getting beat up, which was a lot of fun. And yeah, so they came back and New Emotions. Yes, that's The Chaser. New Emotions was the comeback song. And yeah, it was their 13 EP called Begin, but it had like 1-3 Ijin. So yeah. Anyways, that's who I picked for best group. They did actually like a Killing Voice too, which was a lot of fun. And they had a lot of concerts this year that I that people recorded that I enjoyed. And yeah, I'm just really happy that people are able to still make money after the youth has faded because we know how fickle the industry is. So yeah, that's who I
Hmm.
picked. Oh, also they paid for their comeback. So like even though they established like a agency, so they are in charge of their everything that they do and they put money into. So I respect that. But yeah, all right. So once we talk about the best, what comes next, guys? The worst male group. I mean, I feel like we probably all got the same answer in some way, shape,
Nope.
or form. Oh,
Nope.
really?
Hmm.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because
Okay.
I decided to not choose violence today, or maybe I decided to choose more violence. I don't know yet.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll go first, mostly because I didn't actually have an answer. I felt that most boy groups, outside of like the three that I mentioned, were very disappointing this year. I didn't really have, like, literally I could pick like songs, groups that I like songs from that were male groups were Tan and Hypen, TXT, and Infinite. That's it.
Yeah, most boy groups were mid this year. That's
Like
fair.
even Shiny, I hated hard. I thought Juice was better, but I kind of really want them to go back to a pop sound. So I
I
was
want them,
not
yeah, I
so
want them to
happy.
be shiny and not NCT, but
NCT.
older.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I wrote most, but especially Stray Kids. That was my answer for real.
What the hell, girl? Okay, Ash, I'm gonna. Are you gonna just say yours? Because I gotta
Yeah.
hop
Yeah.
in.
I mean, yeah, it's Stray Kids, so
Okay.
no need to.
So mine is coming from a place of disappointment more than like I hate this group or something, or it's actually the worst. Because if we're going on actually the worst, pretty much 9 years out of 10 is gonna be Stray Kids. But if we just going on disappointing, NCT was so disappointing this year.
Yeah.
Like
Actually
the
was,
best.
yeah, gonna
Sorry.
list them too. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, it's cool. I feel like the best thing out of NCT was Doja Jung, and they really only had one song I really like. I mean, the other songs were
Ooh,
cool, but really, it was "Can We Go Back?" That's a banger to
fantastic.
this day. But NCT is just like 127 didn't really have any big release, and what they did have wasn't. I mean, that one song that they did was pretty. Fact check is so addictive. It's not good by any means, but it's not bad to me either. Like it's just addictive, right? So I have it on in the background, but my real problem is just that like I'm so used to every year NCT has at least one super polarizing song that I tend to like. Like it was Sticker in 2022. And then they always have one song that's terrible, like Two Baddies, right? And this year that was Baggy Jeans, but that's not really NCT. That's and also it depends on what you mean by NCT. 127, Dream, You, like all the different units. But I really mostly talk about 127 because I feel like they have the most complete discography. But even
Mhm.
Wavy and even the Japanese analog, the only good NCT unit was the new team, and they only got two songs. And they only did like one official performance. That tells you something to me. So I'm just very disappointed, and I hope next year everything gets better. Even though Taylor is going to the military if he's not already there. But yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I think that's kind of similar, but less passionate to my diatribe on Tan earlier today. But yes, it's just more of a disappointment. We do it with love, guys. Just
yeah.
disappointment. All right, so we will go to best female group.
Wait, do we all have the same answer?
Oh, probably not.
Oh, okay.
I mean, anybody who knows me knows what my answer is going to be, but
Yeah.
I feel like
Well,
we have different tastes when it comes to girl groups. So,
I'm very basic, so I'll
yeah,
just go. I'll just say it. It's kind of sad when a one hit wonder blows the whole industry out the park.
50-50.
50-50 had me in a
Mm,
chokehold. They
yeah.
had me the same way Stacy had me in 2022. It's
Mm,
something about these new girl groups that I just love. Like even if you consider Luna Nugu, some people consider Luna Nugu. I just feel like they just make better music than like the big four girl groups. And so yeah, it's just 50-50 all day. That's it.
oh, okay. Ash.
I picked Twice because I
Oh.
feel like I don't know, I'm starting to really respect them for like what they've been able to accomplish at
Mhm.
their this point in their career. I like their music that they make now a lot more than what it was at the beginning, which shows they've matured and they're still able to hold up like a substantial fan base and have sold out concerts. And I think people write them off now because they're not like the trendy girl group, but they're still successful. So yeah.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
think it's really like it's a testament to how successful, like not just successful, but how good and solidly good the K-pop landscape is for girl groups right now. Like they just continuously blow the men out of the water for the most part. You know what I mean? Because I think both of you guys had great options, and they would have been mine too if I wasn't an Ive stan girl. But I'm sorry, the only group that competed with New Jeans this year was Ive.
Like
And
sales wise, yeah.
well, not even that, just in terms of like public opinion. They were the only, like,
Oh,
one
well,
of the only
yeah. I
groups
thought you meant in,
that
like,
used it.
objective, like,
Oh,
quality.
no, I think they make better music. Sorry, than New Jeans.
Mhm.
But personally,
Yeah, New
I
Jeans doesn't
just
make good
really
music,
like.
so
I love. I loved I Am. I was Kish took a bit of time for me to grow on. I hated Baddies. I still hate Baddies, but I'll sing along to it, whatever. But I I really liked the other song that they released just recently. Shoot, what's the name of it? It's really slipped my mind. But I just think that they solidly just keep releasing good title tracks. And I like everything that they make. I even like their B-sides. I don't think that they're shaking the table. I don't think that they're making, like, doing anything revolutionary. I'll be honest. But I think there's something to be had there for just consistency. And I think that there's something to be had just for making fun music again. Like, sometimes you just want to dance around. You don't want to, like, have existential thoughts or have feminist thoughts while listening to a song. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just want to shake your ass. And I think Ivy, like, they make really fun pop music, and I love pop music. So that's my choice for girl groups this year. I just thought that they were just very consistent. But I think you guys both had, like, great options, because 50/50 is still, like, kicking butt like crazy. And Twice is still on a successful world tour that I actually have watched, like, YouTube videos of, and I really actually have. I've actually always been into Twice, like, since they dropped. Well, I've watched every comeback and I've been there, but I have also more appreciated them as they got older. And Set Me Free, we listened to that this year and we really liked it. I don't think we did not like the album, but we did like Set Me Free. So that's something, right? All right. So, worst female group.
okay. Well, I know we're gonna get attacked for this, but I have to say it. I don't think Kepler should be a group. I think Kepler needs to disband. And I think I've said this before, but I just don't. It's just everything. Like they have a couple songs that I like, but I think everything else is just like not a good direction for the group. Like I think the girls deserve something different than what they have, what they're working with. I don't think what they're working with works. Like I don't think their music is great. I think their concepts are questionable. I think it's weird. Isn't don't they have like a 17-year-old or like a 16-year-old and like a 28-year-old or something like that? I think that's kind of a
Yeah,
lot. And
I
then I
think so.
think it's also interesting to me too because when they first debuted, I remember all the news coming out was like all of the public was kind of picking on Bahia, right? So I don't know. I just think it's like a group of people who it's very unequal. Like it almost feels like some of the girls are like not as important as the others. And I I say this too about like groups that are just too big or
Hmm.
something like that. But Kepler's not just only too big, but it's like also they don't give the girls really, even the girls they do give things to, they don't give them good things, I don't think. So it's really not Kepler's fault. It's more so I feel the way they're managed and the music that they're given and the image that they're given because their image is so confusing to me. Like I don't really know what I'm supposed to take away from them. But the moral of the story with Kepler's, I just feel like we've seen potential in them. Like they had that one song where we were like, "Ooh, wow, that could be good," but they never really live up to that. So I don't know. Wait, before y'all to say y'all, do y'all think something like I'm wrong?
No, I agree. Kepler is a produced group. And I mean, we already know the produced groups are all fraudulent anyways. It's whoever, I guess, pays them, to get their idol into these groups is what happens. But I think the biggest problem with Kepler in comparison to IS1 and IOI, first of all, each of those groups had at least one vocalist, like somebody who can actually sing. Kepler does
Mm-hmm.
not have that. Kepler relies too much on rappers who can't rap, and
Mm-hmm.
none of the girls are stunners. Like, at least with Eyes One, say what you want. Like, Unbi was obviously like the singer, but they had Wan Young, they had Yujin, they had Sakura. They had like a lot of people in that group who were like visuals and people who people could rally behind and who drew your eye. I don't think that's the case with Kepler. I don't think anybody in Kepler is like stands out. I don't think there's any star in that group.
Yes, perfect,
Yeah,
perfect.
I mean, I didn't pick them, but like they would have been my choice for sure. Who
Mhm.
did I pick? Let's see. I picked Got the Beat. Here's my thing with Got the Beat,
Oh,
Oh, I forgot
because
about them.
I liked Stamp on It, But I listened to the album, and the album was awful, like awful, awful, awful. I'm like, you have two of the strongest K-pop vocalists in the game. You have, Boa here, like, and this is the best that you could do. It was baffling. Honestly, it was so freaking baffling because we should have seen, we should have had some, like, it was R&B pop, whatever. I was like, we should have got some like throwbacks to SWV. Like EXO with Obsession did a much better job, and they were down deal. But
Mm,
for whatever reason, Got the Beat is just like, I think one of the problems with Got the Beat is that they're trying to make them a fourth gen group, which relies too much on visuals and
yep.
not enough on talent. And
Yep.
but you're putting talented people in this group and you're telling them to dim their shine. That don't make no sense to me. So I did not like it. I didn't. I like, it was one of those also disappointment things. Honestly, SM was very disappointing this year. So yeah.
Very. That's a whole look, that's a whole episode by itself, but
Right.
dang, I really agree. Like when you put it in those terms of they're like basically they're an older group cosplaying as a fourth gen group just because they got two ESPA members. Like, yeah, no, that's real.
Right.
Hmm.
Ash, who did you pick?
So this group, I don't necessarily. It's not that I think they're the worst, but when I think about like groups that get lost and like kind of, I feel like this group really just gets lost in like the huge number of girl groups that there are now and the ones that are being so successful, and they have a lot of the resources to be a top tier group, but they just seem like they can't hack it, and that's Itzy. I don't know. I
I
was
knew you were gonna say Itzy.
I
yeah,
agree. I agree.
You do
yeah,
you know they were like trending Itzy needs to disband? Like I don't know if I go that far, but I agree.
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, Leah is like taking a break for this next comeback, and she's not going to be there for the world tour. And a lot of, like, the crazy part about that is that she's literally the only vocalist in that group. One, but also
Yep.
like, it's not even noticeable that she's not there. That's how crazy it is to me. I'm just like, what is this group even? Like, what were you guys looking for when you put them together? You know what I mean? Because clearly ITZY supposed to be a performance group, right? That's why there's not a lot of focus on vocals for anything that they do. And they dance their ass off and they're always singing live, so I give them the respect that they deserve. And they have had some really good songs. Like, I know Mafia in the Morning was controversial. I love that song. But that, what's the song called? It's it. I can't remember that song, the title. But like, they had a couple of like good songs where they peaked, and it's literally just been downhill since then. And then they dropped NMix to replace them, and NMix also came out the gate kind of like a flop group. So it's
Which is sad because they're so talented.
right, right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's also problems at JYPE at this point. Okay, so
Yeah,
that'll
JYP
be
and
another
SM are like
that's
it
another
was not their year.
conversation.
Yeah.
Another conversation. But I get it. I was also kind of disappointed with them. Anyways, let us get on to best song for 2023. I'm gonna say mine because I did not pick one. I'm sorry, guys. I cheated. I just could not decide on which one, so I just picked all the ones, like all the top ones that I loved, which were Ivy's "I Am," Lee Seraphim's "Eve," Psyche and the Bluebird's "Wife," Red Velvet's "Chill Kill," Infinite's "New Emotions," and Hypen's "Bite Me," and Espa's "Welcome to My World." Those are my favorite songs. What about you guys?
Well, at least you confirmed what I always thought about you. But my this was hard for me because I don't really think I actually had that much of a favorite song until recently, which makes me wonder if I can even include it. But I at first I was like, okay, should I do happily ever after? Should I do chasing that feeling? And then I realized there is this TXT song that I don't think I ever heard somehow, which is wild when you know I've listened to every single song in their discography. But somehow I never heard this song, and it's so good. It's called Farewell Neverland or Neverland Farewell. I don't know, something about Neverland. But the point is the song is really good, and it don't have no rap break, which actually a lot of TXT songs don't have rap breaks, which I find interesting. Yeah, it's just a good song. Go listen to it. Recommend it. Ash.
Oh, and my best song is a repeat. It is Do Not Touch.
Yeah, I like that song too.
Why is it a repeat
Oh, because I picked it for
for
best
Choreography.
choreography, yeah.
All right, so worst song for 2023. Oh, I couldn't pick one. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I thought there was a lot of terrible songs this year, but I don't think anything was as offensively bad as 3D by Jungkook. Mostly because they kept trying to push it on us like it was a good song, and even invited
Mm.
Justin Timberlake to do the remix. I just like I don't know
What?
if I've ever felt as like offended by a song as 3D, especially the Jack Harlow rap break. I just thought it was an awful, awful, awful song. So that was
Listen,
my choice.
listen, listen, listen. Nah. I was this close to putting 3D. That is like one of the worst songs that has ever come out of Jungkook's mouth. I can't believe they made that man sing that song. And the fact that they kept trying to push it on us is
Right.
really, to me, the most disrespectful thing is having Yeonjun do a cover of it because it's like, y'all
Yeah.
really know what y'all doing because the fact of the matter is Yeonjun is him. Okay, he's Himothy. And so when y'all had him do that cover, y'all thought, oh, this gonna make it pop off even more because the young kids who the Gen Z, da 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 da. If Jungkook ain't got them now, they gonna have no, no. That song is trash. It don't matter who sing it, it's trash. However, it was not the worst because when I tell you what's the worst, you're gonna agree.
Okay. I'm ready.
I have two,
Okay.
technically, but I'll tell you the one that I can identify by name. Girl, the boys with lip gloss.
Oh, that was awful.
Listen,
Yeah.
That was awful.
listen. Do you know that I actually went to the doctor and asked, how can I take my ears off? Because I didn't want to hear that. That song is terrible. Okay. Like, it is a terrible song. And it's only really to me beat out by basically everything Stray Kids released. But yeah, I cannot believe they really thought that that was the move because it's just like it's just a bad song and the music video is so weird. And I did see a comment on there that was really funny. It was like why is the boys pretending to be straight or something like that. When you understand the Stray Kids lore, that makes a little bit more sense. But,
Right.
but it was very funny. And people saying that's why it's so bad. And I'm like, no, it's just bad because it's bad. But yeah. So yeah, those are my choices. Ash.
Oh.
So this song would not have been my pick if I hadn't accidentally seen the music video while I was in Korea, but I did, and now it is unequivocally the worst song. I think it's even worse than what y'all chose, and y'all may not have heard it. I would not recommend looking it up because it is very bad, but it is Festival by Sandra Park.
Listen, I actually didn't watch the movie to this time to this moment because I'd seen the dance whatever stuff on TikTok and I just said no, thank you. It looked awful. I'm sorry.
I think y'all might be tripping.
Oh, I only know but from the chorus, which didn't seem that great.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't like this.
Yeah.
This sound
Japanese.
I mean, the choreo is terrible, but it sounds like other K-pop to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just jaded, but it sounds like a lot of other songs.
It was
But I
I just found it
respect what
Yeah,
you're
I
saying.
just found it really grating. And also, I don't know, I feel like with Sandra, like she's too old to be doing this type of concept. Like, I don't know. It just all just uh, left a really bad taste in my mouth.
Especially
Fair.
I
I
think
How old is she?
She's in her
like
30s.
30, let's see, Sandara Park
I could
is
have probably Googled that. My
39.
fault. My fault.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
older
oh
than us.
God, yeah,
Yeah.
she's way too old for. Okay, I thought you were gonna say 30, and I was like, oh, okay, that's fair. But once you kind of get past like 37, a concept like that gets a little bit like this is uninspired, you know? Because I feel like you can do like because you can do a concept similar to that and it still be good. A really good example of that is that Vietnamese song that we
Yes.
listened to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that blew up on TikTok. Yes. I can't remember the
Yes.
name
Hmm.
of it, but yes.
Saifu and Gap Aila. MC thing. She's the artist on that is, I think, like in her late 30s too. Maybe I'm probably totally wrong. She probably like 28. But either way, she is a real grown woman, and the song is great. But this song, I get what you're saying about it being like beyond Sandara Parks stuff.
Yeah.
But
I think
okay.
too the fact with Sandara is, or Dara as she's called as well, is that like if you look at and you listen to like 21's discography, even her solo while she was under 21, it's so different. It's like jarringly different. And I don't know if like I honestly didn't follow it because once again I saw the little dance challenge because she did one Bam Bam and stuff like that, and I was like, ooh, I don't think this is for me. But I was kind of just like, I don't know if maybe she chose it because she couldn't do something like this under YG, and so she, this is like her statement piece, like, oh, I can do other things. But I just, when you're just like you like somebody, but you don't want to change your opinion on them, so you kind of just like ignore some of the stuff that they be doing. That was what it was like for me.
Ah. Girl, don't I have a story for y'all later on in this episode? Okay. Well, I think these are all great choices for the worst artists.
Yeah, for the worst song, yes. And
Or worst song.
the next
Sorry.
category is best album. So, I mean, I'm just gonna be real quick. You guys know I listened to Chill Kill like 30 times, and in that month that it came out, I like it. I still listen to it. I mean, obviously the top half is better than the bottom half, but I still think it was like a really good album. So, and that's it for me. Red Velvet's Chill Kill.
Didn't you give it like a 5 on our review?
I don't think it was like a perfect score, but it was up there because I enjoyed it. Yes.
Okay.
You're right.
Ash.
I feel bad giving this award to this group because I honestly didn't listen to that many albums this past year. So this was like the only one that I remember that was halfway good. So they kind of, in my mind, don't really deserve it, but
Oh,
they were
okay.
the best that I could remember. So I gave it to Red Velvet's Chill Kill as well.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Fair,
Okay.
fair. Nat, do you want to read my answer or should I tell y'all what I wrote?
You tell us what you wrote.
I wrote, is there a choice for nothing?
Ah!
Period. We can move on.
I think that's fair. Okay, so we actually didn't have best like worst album, which is funny because we have like best and worst for everything, but album and best artist.
Because
I don't
that's
know if
too
we want to
much.
talk
Ain't nobody
about
listening
it.
to all of those songs.
You're right, and also too, like I feel like if you are on our Patreon, you guys have listened to
You
our
know what
album
it
reviews,
is.
so you know what the worst album of the
You
year was.
listen every single time. If it's a worst album competition, it's either gonna be Stray Kids or ATs. Listen,
Right.
it's not that hard. You don't have to
It's really
wonder.
not hard. Or actually, no, Kepler and the boys were heavy
That's
competition
true.
this year.
Kepler was a heavy hitter. Okay.
That is true. But anyways, let us go to best artist. Who do we think was the best artist of 2023? Listen, guys, I'm a simp. Ivy, whatever you want to call them, that's who I thought was the best artist of 2023. What do you guys have to say?
Ash.
I put Twice because they had a good year.
Fun. I put Jungkook actually.
Okay,
Ooh.
okay. So we actually had a worst artist on here. So I'm gonna go
It's
first
out of
with
order
worst.
though.
I know, I know. I noticed that. I just noticed that now. For me, it's funny because my worst artist and my two options for the English release are all the same person. So it's Jungkook,
Are
mostly
you
because
serious? You
most
fucking
mostly
traitor.
mostly because I only like the one song. I thought there was a potential with everything else, but I think overall as an artist and like I don't want to be a competition, but if I compared his artistry this last year to like Taemin, I mean, like,
Okay, to be
yeah.
fair, Taemin just released. So that's not really fair because I was doing
Well,
it like the Grammys cut off, right? So
well,
I
okay.
wouldn't. To be quite honest with you, I just listened to some of Taemin's songs for the first time like today.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why I really don't think that would have been fair for me. But I respect your decision. It's wrong, but I respect it.
Sorry, I just
I
picked him for worst artist just because I'm sorry. Like, I just think that just your debut album comes out and you just be putting anything on there and like
True. And
hoping
then you
it,
just go to the military. Yeah,
and then you
that's
go to the,
true.
and not even that, because we had a Black into K-pop space, and a lot of Jungkook fans were trying to be out there, like trying to give it, like to excuse it, like, oh well, he had to make an album, they forced these songs on him, he didn't care, and I'm like, I'm sorry,
Well,
I'm
he should
maybe I'm
care.
old school. This is the thing. Maybe I'm old school. Maybe that is all correct, and like, you do what you want to do. You're already rich. You already have all these hordes of people who love you. So like, you can do whatever the hell you want, and they're gonna support you anyways, right? But I come from an era of artists and who like respect the craft, and you got so much money, you have so much people, so you have so many people who want to work with you and who want to be a part of what's going on, and you're just gonna throw out a garbage album just because, like, I just, that was like the crazy thing to me, and I think that's like, it was actually kind of insulting, I think, because I feel like Jungkook, even though this is like his debut solo, he's been in the industry long enough to understand like the art of it all, you know what I mean?
I
I
don't.
mean,
I think that, but I feel. See, I feel like that's a fatal flaw in the argument because I feel like that kind of assumes Jungkook wants to be an artist. Like, I think it kind of goes back to that conversation we was having, I think, on Patreon about Beyonce, how she's like chasing a ghost at this point. Like, she is no longer obsessed with like, oh, I just want to be the top charting girly, like
yeah,
Nicki or
of course,
something. She's like, no, I want to have a legacy. I don't
right.
really think Jungkook is at that point in his career where art matters to him, and he came from the idol system, so of course art is going to be very secondary to him. At the same time, you make really strong points to where I'm not going to change my choice, but I will say that like it makes me, it does have an impact on how I think about it now, because you are making a good point of like the album was kind of insulting, and I think that when we were reviewing it we were saying that like it's not a terrible album, but it did kind of just seem a little bit thrown together very last minute.
Yes.
And it's crazy because like there were really good songs on there, like a couple to me, like two. And but then there was like 3D, right? Which was like, okay. And the features were kind of questionable. And then I remember us having that whole conversation about too when he was promoting, it was strange that he was like promoting this English album in English speaking nations and don't still is not like a person who's comfortable with using English. So I just think that that's interesting too. Not saying you have to be an English speaker to promote, but it just for this to be your debut album, I think is like the whole thing, right? That's like the big nucleus of it all. It kind of feels like you don't really care because you feel like people will just buy it anyway.
Yeah, and I
But
think,
at the sorry.
oh, sorry. No, I just want to say, like, what you said too about him maybe not wanting to make a legacy and not actually caring and stuff like that. That's actually really fair too. He could have just been like, they do want me to do this before I enlist, so let me just take the songs, because he didn't work on any of the songs. So let me just take these songs that
That's
these
true.
English speakers have made and just like perform them and support and like do the little promo that I need to do, and then go to the military. Maybe I'll come back and I'll actually put out an album that is a passion project if that's important to him. So I do respect that as well too. I think I want to like clarify, when I say worse, it's the same thing like when I was talking about Taeyeon and when we were talking about NCT and stuff like that. It's more like a disappointment. It's not like I think like Jungkook is terrible. I don't think Jungkook is terrible. I think Jungkook could do much better than what he produced.
Yes, I
That's
agree. I
yeah,
think
so
that's exactly. There
that's
was like,
the point of it.
I'll admit, there was no passion in any of those songs. Like I couldn't feel the passion at least. But one thing I will say is when he was performing it, when he was performing on, I think Good Morning America, the thing that really I took away from that performance is he has something that none of the other K-pop boys besides Taemin are trying to cultivate, and that is a little bit of his own artistry and musicality and like flair on as a
Yes.
performer. But I
Yeah.
think that, so when I was thinking of artists, I was thinking overall, not just like songs and catalog, but I was thinking like, what are you bringing as a performer, total package? And Taman was just a little too late for the cutoff, to be
Mhm.
honest. Because, like I said, I just listened to his music this morning. Well, I think I listened to one of the songs like when we listened all together. But still, the point is like it goes back to when I sent y'all that video earlier of Taman performing "Move" last year. That song is 5 years old and it still feel like it came out yesterday. It's so fresh, it's so new, it's so different. Taman puts every ounce of his being into that song every time he performs it. And while Jungkook doesn't quite do that, I do think it's something about his energy that I find like very contagious when he performs. And it's something that literally, even his fellow members, like Jimin, who is literally the dancer of the group, he is like one of the top dancers in K-pop, cannot captivate me the way Jungkook captivates me. And that's without even doing choreography. So I think that's what I was putting into it. Not trying to justify my choice or anything, but just anyway, I'm going on too long. The point is I respect everything you're saying, and it really did make me think about my choice. I'm not changing it, but that's a good explanation.
Two
Okay.
sides of the same coin.
Yeah, honestly, I will say, if I really had to like there were also other contenders for this who were also disappointments, but I don't think like they felt like not quite a slap in the face, but like just why were you like this? Like Taeyeon, I mentioned earlier, Sunmi with Stranger. I don't know what the hell's going on there.
It
Like,
wasn't good.
like I just think I think there's a lot of people out here this year who like Sonmi, as has been mentioned throughout the podcast episode. Sonmi was just like there was like a lot of people who just were very disappointing as soloists, and but I think like with Jungkook, as I said, it was just more like potential versus the actualization of what we got, and like also seeing like all the every like story that I guess or information that I got about the making of this album just made it so much more clear that it was just like
A
something
whatever
yeah,
money
it was a
grab.
whatever money
Yeah.
grab, and like if that's I can't like respect that in this industry. I'm sorry, I think there's too much of
Fair.
it. It's just there's way too much of just the money grab aspect of it, and nobody's really making trying to make good music. Not nobody, but like it just seems like that pool is getting smaller and smaller and smaller every year, and
Yeah, I mean,
I
at
hate it.
least, and that's the one thing you can say of all the BTS releases. The Maknae line is
Yeah.
at least V actually made songs that I could imagine that he
Oh,
really had his heart in.
passion
Because
project for sure.
them songs, boring as fuck. But anyway, Ash, who was your worst artist of the year?
Well, I kept it pretty simple. I chose Stray Kids. So, yeah.
The one time I didn't expect Stray Kids, and I chose Kepler for all the reasons stated above. All right, best English release.
Okay,
Can I
I
go?
go. Oh yeah, go.
Should we all say it at the same time? Because I know we got the same answer.
Okay. One.
One, two, three.
Standing.
Cupid.
Cupid.
Oh, I said standing next to you, featuring Usher.
Ash didn't say nothing. Ash, what did you say?
I said Cupid. I was trying to match up with.
Okay, maybe there's like
No,
a
I
slight
mean, like,
line.
what was your actual answer?
Yeah, it's Cupid. Hers is
Yeah,
Cupid
it was
too.
Cupid. It was Cupid.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, okay. Cupid English version.
Cupid
Yeah.
Cupid definitely was a good song, but standing next to you, Jungkook and Usher, I'm sorry, like that was just that was everything. I'm sorry, so that's why I picked it. But yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Worst English release, I feel like I have technically two. And I'm gonna say the first one, and then we can all say the second one together because I know we got the same one.
Oh, I
So
picked two too though.
oh shoot, really?
Yeah.
Okay, the one that we have the same. Let's say that one together and save it.
Okay.
So the first one that I picked is Two by Two did a song with this artist called Anita, who apparently made a song that's like ABCDEFG I'm a hoe or something like that. Don't really understand what the song is about, but
Okay.
when I tell y'all, somebody had made like a really funny tweet, and it was like, "How come everybody that TXT collaborate with end up being like a trash, problematic person because they collaborated with Coil Ray and she got exposed for something recently, but and they collaborated with like the Jonas Brothers, and then Joe Jonas cheated on whatever the girl name is. So it's like they keep collabing with the worst people, and I'm like, that's because Hybe is trying to sabotage them. I'm telling y'all." But yeah, that song was terrible, like to me, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I didn't even listen to
nah,
it because I
it's bad.
assumed it might not be great. I don't really know much about Anita, but outside of that, she's like a reggaeton or Latin artist or not.
Yeah, she
Like
popped off
that's
on
what I know.
TikTok, I feel.
Okay. Well, my first choice is Perfect Night by Lee Seraphim. That was like their English release. That's actually doing really, really, really good on the Korean charts for some weird reason. I just think
Hmm.
that's like a really bad, boring song. So I honestly don't know what they were thinking with it. But the song that we probably picked together.
Wait, hold up. Ash, did you pick more than one?
No, just one.
Okay, wait, I want to hear this Perfect Night because I don't think I've heard it. What don't you like about it?
I don't know. So for some reasons, it was just like really grating. I think it's also because they're at like their voice is at the same volume as the music. So it's so easy to like forget that they're actually singing and it's just not the instrumental playing. And then like they actually performed it and stuff, and it got like it was even more boring with the performance. It was crazy. I know, like it was just
Huh.
there was like a
I
lot of
do
things
think that
going
the
wrong with that.
performance is very boring. The song itself is not that bad. I feel like if it was given to Luna, Luna would kill that concept, but
Luna,
whatever.
yeah, but also it would have been mixed properly, and you could probably hear the vocalist, and they
Oh,
wouldn't sound the same. So yeah,
that's a high problem, but yeah. Okay, so are we ready for our one that we all have in common?
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, one, two, three.
3D,
3D.
yes,
Yes, finally.
awful,
Yay.
awful,
That song is
awful,
terrible. That's
awful.
like literally one of the worst things I ever heard in my life.
Right.
And
It
I've
was
heard a lot of Stray Kids music. Okay, so okay, it's not fun to dunk on Stray Kids no more. It's punching
I mean,
down.
I feel like they probably won't come up for the rest of this episode, so that's fine.
You
Ah.
think?
All right. Well, now we have songs we chose. We're out of the sort of like music based awards. No. Yeah. And now we're kind of like in another kind of area. So we
Yeah.
have songs we chose last year that either fell off or that should have been mentioned or awarded last year. And I don't have any that I didn't put any that should have been mentioned, but I do have some that fell off.
Okay. Which ones fell off for you?
Um, so the ones that fell off for me are Taste by Stray Kids.
Hmm.
It's still a decent song. It's just not in rotation. And I Envy You by Taeyeon.
Okay. I envy you. I actually wasn't a huge fan of it, but I mean, it could have been worse. So, yes. All right. Ash, what about you?
I didn't really have anything for this category.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I looked at my songs for best song last year, and it was I've with After like A Pink with Dilemma, 50/50 with Loving Me, and Taeyeon with Some Nights. And then I was like, wait, but I just listened to those songs yesterday. So clearly nothing has fallen off for me. I honestly listen to Dilemma almost every day. Because sometimes, I mean, when I work, I like to play things in the background, and the YouTube algorithm honestly is one of the best ones out there, because
I
they know.
disagree. I heavily disagree.
Really? Because for
Yep.
me, I find like when I'm in a mood for certain like K-pop songs, especially from certain years, I feel like it does a really good job of keeping within that theme. My only issue is that if the companies have paid YouTube to like promote their stuff, you can't get out of
Mhm.
it. That's the only thing that I hate about it. So like you be like I'll be listening to like some bomb ass second, third gen like JYPE, and all of a sudden it's like 10 stray kid songs or like,
Yep.
and I'm just like, why? Nobody wants us
Or
here.
or or standing next to you. And today I was trying to listen to basically all 80s music.
Yes.
Literally, I'm talking Kate Bush, Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks. I'm over here trying to in 70s music. I'm trying to listen to, my old trying to get into, songs that get white people turned. And I just kept getting like random like SZA tracks. And like I'm like, I know I listen to a lot of SZA, but dang, like
Right.
last I checked, she wasn't in none of these groups, ABBA or nothing. So
It's
yeah,
like read the
terrible.
room. Right.
Read the room, girl. All right, Scandal of the Year is about to be fun. So I kind of want to come back to Scandal of the Year and do the theme of 2023 because I think.
Okay.
Well, we should do the best episode first, and then we'll do Scandal of the Year last.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
well, I will go just because I really a lot of times I have to actually go back and listen to like an episode that we've done in order to remember like what was said, because sometimes after we're done it's been like 3-4 hours and you're just like I want to lay down. But I will
Mhm.
say that I actually really I one of the album reviews that I really enjoyed doing and like editing and putting out and going back to was when we did the NCT subunit album review, just because obviously like it wasn't like the album was great or anything like that, but I feel like compared to the other albums that we reviewed this year, it was definitely one that was solid in some ways,
Oh,
but
you talking
also
about
that had
DJ Dung?
potential.
Okay.
Yeah, but also it had with right. It also had like potential to do better, and I feel like that's the point, that's the whole reason we do album reviews, is the fact that like we're looking not just for like groups that make good music or solid music or consistent music, but we also look for groups that have potential to be better,
Yep.
and like explore that. And I thought that this specific album review was like probably a better example of that, and so I enjoyed it. It wasn't like hard to get through. Like, some of the worst albums that we talked about on here.
Okay.
So that was my pick. What about you guys?
I didn't realize we could do Patreon
Oh,
episodes,
sorry.
but I think that's a great selection because that was like literally one of the better albums we reviewed. I don't know, we just had terrible luck this year. But I think the best episode and honestly, a good portion of me loving this episode is the title. Ash show out with this title. So probably F is for Robert. Listen, I know Nat wasn't there, but it was actually a really good episode, and we had some decent topics. I think we did the Mama nominations on there. There were some funny things, and it was like a good mixture of like all of us, of all of our like aspects as like a team, right? Because like some episodes it just be jokes the whole time. Some episodes it just be hella serious. And then this one's like a mixture of both. And I think it's because like when Nat is here, I get very distracted and I just want to tell jokes. But when Nat is gone, I have to be the responsible one in the room because y'all know Ashby. Girl, I don't know what Ashby doing. She be on one, okay? so,
I'm
so I have to
sorry.
like I'm just playing. I'm just messing with you. But it is a very I just the fact that this man's name is like Min Kyung and he titled the album Robert. It's just so funny.
Honestly, that title is my favorite titles this year. So Ash, kudos for that. But that is definitely because I was like, wait a minute, his real name ain't even Bobby. Why you call this album Robert? But yes. What about you, Ash? What did you select?
I also picked the Patreon thing because we had so much fun with it, and I picked the Stray Kids album review just because I don't remember us laughing that much
We
during
really,
an episode,
Man,
and
yeah.
yeah.
it was fun. So
I was
That was
literally,
very funny. We was
scared.
like flex is a noun. That was a very funny one. That was a good one. Oh shoot, I think Bobby's name is actually G1. I don't know where. You know what? Probably because we was trying to figure out what Mark's name was earlier,
Right.
and my brain is just stuck on that. Okay. Either way, his name ain't Robert. But
It's
yeah,
not.
that was a good one, Ash. I like that. Okay, nice. So make sure you listen to F is for Robert if you haven't already. And if you're not subscribed to Patreon, make sure you subscribe so that you can get all of our latest updates and listen to that Stray Kids album review because that one was funny. And also listen to the Doja Jung album review because that was a really high quality album. So compared to everything else.
Everything else, yeah.
All right. Well, now I want to do the theme of 2020. I got a bunch of themes and I can just
Okay,
rattle them off.
sure.
But I would rather, you know what? I want Nat to say them. So I'm going to put them in the chat. But Nat, you can go first. You can say your theme of 2020. Ash, you go second. And then Nat, you can read mine.
Okay, so my like one of the major themes that I hated about 2023 with music in Korea and K-pop, the K-pop industry is mediocrity, even with the height of album
Mm.
sales and Billboard positions. I just feel like a lot of these groups just be dropping anything, and everybody be
Eugene?
hyping, and their fans just be hyping it up, not because it's good quality, but because it's their group and or they're trendy. Like, how did New Jeans debut album? How's it only 12 minutes? I'm
Are you
sorry.
serious?
I'm like, I just don't even understand. And then like you had people
That's
Mm.
like
people
3 songs.
but it's not 3 songs though. Like, okay, let me pull up this album. Get Up came out in
No,
2023. It is
I'm saying 12
yeah,
minutes
yeah,
should be like 3 songs.
yeah. And their album had like 6 songs. It's 12 minutes and 10 seconds.
That's
Uh,
embarrassing.
yeah, and you had people talking about, yeah, they made it short so that it helps with everybody's short attention span. I'm like, but don't you think the attention span being short is a problem? Maybe that's what we should be working on, and not having people make 12-minute albums. Like, how about that? Back in the 60s and the 70s, even into the 80s and the 90s, they had 12-minute songs, much less 12-minute albums. How dare y'all be out here on
That's disrespectful.
Beyonce's internet that was built on the work of Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson and Madonna and Prince and Whitney Houston and all of the greats, okay? Talking about, a 12-minute album is good because people have short attention spans. Well, maybe you should work on that. Maybe
You
you
know
should
how I know
hurry up.
that's not true?
How?
Okay, it's not that it's not true. It's more so maybe if the music was memorable, people would have the attention span for it. And the reason why I know this is because the girlies are really into 80s music again these days. The girlies are going back and listen to the 5 minute cut of Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush.
Oh
Right.
So
yeah,
Right.
Whitney
Right.
that's
Houston
what you're
like
gonna say?
charted recently.
Because it's like because you know Stranger Things, it was
Stranger
featured in there,
Things. Yeah.
and so
Oh.
the girlies are listening to the full 5 minutes of the song. So it's don't give me that. I truly believe if they made longer songs with more art and passion and dedication, people will listen.
Right. It's
Period.
maybe it's the lack of talent that keeps these songs so short. Not talking
Ooh,
about
bop, boop.
New Jeans, not talking about New Jeans specifically, but I'm just saying. I noticed that people who are not that talented have short songs. And so maybe the problem is that people need to work on the craft a little bit more. They need to
We
elevate themselves.
definitely need to do that Patreon episode about Hype. Okay.
Yeah. Yep, yep,
There's
yep.
a lot of takes I have. There's a YouTube video that basically kind of did like a vocal video essay about Hype. We need to watch that and talk about it because there's a lot to unpack with that. But fair. So that was your theme of 2023. That's a very negative
Mm,
theme.
yeah, I mean, honestly, it's like yes, people talk about all the achievements of like sales and Billboard charting and stuff like that. But I'm like, yeah, but nobody is remembering your songs. Like nobody, if they even listen to it and your fans didn't just buy a box full of albums that they tossed in the ground, when they were done. Like I just, it's just like there's no longevity anymore. Everything's vibes, short term vibes, and it's not
Yep.
about lasting longer. And I think and that's why I actually do respect TVXQ, who still is making music, guys, because they still do what they've been doing. They're not changing for nobody, okay? Their fans meet them where they are, okay? And what they will do is they're going to sing, they're going to dance. TVXQ is not slowing down because they got married and they got kids. They're still out here still making music. I feel like Shinwa would be doing that too if they didn't have so many scandals and Eric's wife didn't have a baby and people were shaming him for, looking like a dad helping with a baby. But, like, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of stuff that happened in 2023 were not good, unfortunately. But, you did say it was negative. So I will say the positive is that the girls still kept continue bringing it. And also, even though Blackpink did resign as a
You
group with
said it was
YGE,
negative.
well, I said
Oh my
that.
god, Baby Monster. Yeah, that was one of the worst parts of
Yeah,
2023.
it was. Even though Blackpink did resign as a group with YGE, they did not sign as soloists. So we're gonna see more Jenny this year. And I like me some Jennifer Kim, so I'm looking at that as a positive from last year.
You know what? Her song was actually good, but she just can't sing it very well. But
Not at all.
Ash, what was your theme of 2023?
um Westernization. So I feel like that we see a lot of K-pop catering to the West more and more. And I think that's like brought a lot of questions with people asking like what is K-pop, and with these groups that are considering themselves K-pop and not even singing in Korean. And so I feel like with I think that's a natural thing because with as much money and success as K-pop has had, like I think it's natural that the West would kind of come in and almost infiltrate it and try and become like I don't know, just it's more I feel like there's just more of a feeling of we have more where the music is not and the feel of it is not as intrinsically Korean as it used to be. Like I think especially with like second and like some first and second gen, it was more people liked it because it was different, and you could feel like the cultural differences there. But now a lot of it is just kind of riding off of the popular trends and music trends that are that you can find in most Western music. And not all of it, but some of it. So, yeah, if that makes sense.
Hmm, that's really interesting. I feel like I listened to a K-pop song that sounded like SZA earlier today, and I was like, "What the heck?"
Why?
It was very weird. I was like, "That's a lane that you don't need to be in."
Right,
SZA
right.
sometimes don't need to be in that lane. So, okay.
I
All right,
agree.
that's yeah. Now here goes mine. Nat, you can do the honors.
Okay. Okay. Jail. Period.
Read it from left to right.
Okay. So jail, the year of the girl, prison, poorly done Y2K concepts, incarceration, TXT paving the way for boy groups, orange jumpsuits, coming out as African American, question mark, Spanish question mark, English question mark, Spanish question mark, inmate behavior, TXT's ops. Are they ops? Are there ops? I
They do have ops.
like, okay, okay.
These are my themes of 2022. Everybody going to prison. We love to see it.
Tory Lane.
People,
But yeah,
Tory Lanes, people thinking that they're doing Y2K concepts, and in reality, they're just doing whatever the hell New Jeans is doing, which is barely what they think it is. It's obviously the year of the girl, Barbie. TXT really paved the way, but that's a conversation that y'all not ready for. A lot of people in the Korean entertainment industry came out as African American, and I was very shocked personally. I did not know these people were black, but I don't know how to feel about it either, but that happened. And about TXT's ops, let's talk about this because I made a comment in one of our Patreon episodes because there was a recent thing, controversy involving Taehyun again. And I was like, okay, this is getting suspicious because it seems to me, right?
hmm
One, how come is it that a lot, even though TXT be selling like crazy, the other idols don't be knowing their music? Whenever they do those random dance, the other idols be like, what is this? Even some of their best friends don't know their music, which is
yikes.
questionable because there are members of ATs that don't know TXT songs, but they know their own songs. And I'll be like, you mean to tell me you listen to AT's music, but you can't listen to a TXT song? That don't make sense. That's suspicious. Then another thing is, why is it that in 2023, all of a sudden TXT had a bunch of like minor scandals? Like, and there were things that I really feel like on some of them, I was like, this is stupid. Like Taehyun being spotted at that club and everybody going off on him because he was with two girls and drinking a beer. And I'm like,
Right.
but they drink alcohol all the time. In fact, that's one of the things that I really feel like is coming with this new fourth gen coming up. I'm starting to see a lot of them drinking now because they're getting old enough to do it. And I don't like it. I don't like where it's heading. It's heading in the same direction as when third gen just gets all drunk and rambunctious. I don't like it. Not that it's my business. They grow. I can't say anything, but at the same time, I don't like the normalization of any sort of addictive culture. Like even vaping, like all of these celebrities and idols vaping and smoking cigarettes. Like I just think it's like kind of gross personally, but also like I just don't like the normalization of it. And then and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with drinking. It's just like drinking as much as these idols drink is the problem I have.
Or as like people even in Korean dramas and stuff like that, like the whole drunk culture
The
that
drinking
is
culture is
portrayed.
terrible in Korea.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Mhm.
it's actually like scary to me how normal it is.
But you better not be
I
caught
have
with
a
any weed.
exactly. It just don't make no sense to me. And then, but anyway, what was I saying? So there's that, and then there's like this scandal about this wasn't really a scandal, but they were saying that Subin was dating Songhwa, which is hilarious. I'm like, y'all, y'all really think that would never in a million years that news would never come out? Y'all know who Songhwa is, right?
Yeah, he's actress, right?
Mm.
Songhwa from ATs.
Oh shoot. I did not hear that clearly. No,
There that
I
was
only know
a
Psy.
real actual dating scandal, and I'm like, okay, they
Oh,
would never have like a male couple, like a a slash couple or whatever, a gay couple. That would never
Yeah,
happen in
no,
K-pop. Like that wouldn't be something that Hybe would allow to get out, in my opinion,
no.
unfortunately. But and then and not that to me that's not a scandal and that's not a bad thing, but it's just a lot of people looked at it as like if it was a bad thing because there's a lot of
right.
homophobic people, right? And then there was the whole thing about the anime thing, which that remember when I was telling y'all about
Yeah,
that manga that all the idols were reading, and I'm like, that
yeah.
was a different. I don't know where I feel about that. And then there was the whole thing about when Taehyun said that one like a soccer player looked like the Prince of Wakanda, and everybody was saying it was hella racist for him to say that, and I was like. I just don't think it's racist, but that's just me. Like I don't. What did y'all want him to say? He looked like the Prince of Korea. The man is black. And then people were saying, well, why did he just immediately associate him with something black? And I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Do you hear yourself? It don't make no sense. And so I really do feel like, and then the barbecue scandal, that was a big one too, where they were like, oh, have y'all heard his MR removed? And I'm like, have you heard any of these idols MR removed?
Jimin literally was unable to do the after his
Encore stage.
performance, his encore stage, yes, because the first and only time that he did it, he almost got, like, he basically got booed off the stage. Like, it didn't literally happen, but it did happen on the internet. People heard him sing live and said, "No, thank you,
But
please
his
stop."
earpiece was messed up, guys.
Year he wants to be more serious and get vocal lessons. I'm like, girl, he's in the military. Like, you can't be too serious about it. I don't know what y'all talking about, but and you've been debuted for 10 years. Why don't you already have vocal lessons? But that's beyond me. But yeah, so anyway, and Bomb you actually don't have a bad voice. So that's what really irritated me about that scandal. But I really feel like Hybe is purposely trying to sink TXT so that they can build up Hypen. I don't like Hypen. I don't really know their music, so it's probably messed up for me to say I don't like them, but I've heard really bad things about some of the messages they put into the universe. And for me, I'm a very much of a total package kind of person, right? Oh, and that's Nat, this is embarrassing. Why would you pull this up when I'm in the middle of a sentence?
I'm sorry. But yes, continue.
That is embarrassing. She pulled up the M Countdown Encore for Jimin's Like Crazy. But yeah, I just feel like they really have been targeted this past year, and I really never understood it. It's like they're finally starting to get some success outside of a certain demographic, and y'all are trying to bring them down. Don't get me wrong, some of the things they deserve, and I've also called them out on different things before in the past. But some of the stuff is just ridiculous. We've been there, done that. Get over it, move past it. Unless it's something like the whole anime thing. I don't know how I feel about that because I haven't watched that anime or read that manga, so I don't really want to speak on that. But I do want to speak on the other things. Anyway, so yes, this year was just a wild year. And one more thing about TXT paving the way for boy groups. Listen, every boy group tried to have their punk rock era and failed. Y'all saw TXT do it. Y'all wanted to do it too, and it didn't
True.
work.
That is actually very true.
And now the girlies are on the timeline mad because us truthers are out here telling them the facts. Y'all don't want to hear it, but y'all need to hear the truth. Because the fact of the matter is I really feel like people don't want to admit when certain I really feel like if TXT was like a third gen group, maybe people will want to hear it, but they ain't trying to hear it. Anyway, I'm done. Let me get off my soapbox. I've been talking too much.
I think they were all worthy of being mentioned because yeah, definitely, like, there's a lot of weird shit that happened this year. Like, I don't really get it. But anyways, for me, the top scandal is basically the police not doing their job and using celebrities to cover up politician scandals. We all know what the Korean political system looks like, and we saw what they tried to do to G Dragon. We saw what they did do to Lee Sun Gyun, R.I.P. We saw what they've been trying to do. Like, literally, like, right after he died, they started arresting new people. Like, clearly, you're not here to better society. You're here to take the pressure off of your soon to be dictator visiting former dictator. Like, okay, first of all, you're prime minister, or is it prime minister in Korea, or is it president? It's president, right? You're the president of Korea, right, or whatnot, and you had a huge issue where a whole bunch of people died on Halloween in Itaewon, and so you're gonna go meet up with a former prime minister who also got ousted because of huge scandals and is also, connected to another tragedy with the Seawolf Ferry. I don't know about you, but something about that don't sit right with me. Something about that seems very, very particular. RIP to the victims of both tragedies, but it doesn't seem like your government cared that much about it or about you. So I don't know. It was just like really weird to me.
It's
I said it on
crazy.
Twitter. I said on Twitter, and I'm gonna say it here: Korea is primed for a new dictatorship at this point because, and all the governments around the world are primed for like right wing, very conservative governments at this point. It's just an unfortunate reality of this era of late stage capitalism. So, and also these guys, they play the long game. They play the long game, and they hammer people until they give up, like Claudine Gay. So like I just, at this point I'm just like, okay, you got to focus on taking care of myself, my family, and my friends, and having a good time, because clearly the rest of this place is burning down, like real burning down. Let me tell you about some other scandals that I thought was really, like, really fucked up.
You said that.
Also, so I don't know if you guys. I was telling Ash earlier, but Jimin, I don't know if you heard about the pocket doll scandal, where they had a group which has a 14-year-old member from a group called Fantasy Boys named Gule, and he was allegedly groomed by a 22-year-old stylist. And he went on Twitter, I think, or like social media, to apologize for the scandal. The scandal is you being groomed by an adult woman.
What?
Like, and the
I vaguely
company
heard about this.
and the company put out a statement saying basically that it like, they didn't say, they just said like the evidence that was used, which was like an audio, which is kind of hard to manipulate, but whatever. They used an audio, and they said it was manipulated, and they're taking action against the netizen. Not that they looked into the stylist who might be grooming a 14-year-old. I don't know. The whole thing was really fucked up to me. So that pissed me off. Also, people coming for Eric. Okay, there's a lot of reasons you should come for Eric from Shinhwa. Like, a lot of reasons, okay? But he recently put out a picture on social media, or he took a picture of somebody on social media, and everybody was like, he looks awful, he's fat, he's old, he looks gross, he doesn't look like the idol that we remember. And the man came online and was like, my wife just had a newborn. I'm helping her at home. I'm sorry that I look like this. Like, what is wrong with people? Like, in a year when we've lost people because of online bullying, or other reasons, obviously, as well too, like, maybe the stress of being K-pop idol. Like, I just feel like, why do we keep doubling down on this bullshit? You know what I mean? Like, even with the Lisa and Kyun problem, like, it's situation, sorry, not problem, but the situation, and the way that I'm seeing that people are saying that, oh, female celebrities who also had same similar scandals, they you know they were treated differently than he was, because now everybody feels bad because he took his life. And I'm like, but you know who is doing all of these things? You are the people on the internet who are bullying them and saying awful, horrible things about them. You are the reason for these double standards. You are the reason for this bullying. Like, I want people to touch grass. I really honestly want people to get off online, like off just being plugged in to Twitter, to Twitch, to TikTok, to Instagram, to whatever. Like, I just need people to remember that in the real world, when you say shit like really fucked up mean things, you're saying it to a human being, a person that you probably couldn't say that to face to face, mind you. Like, the internet just, like, it sort of like elevates the negativity and the awfulness inside of a person, and that's why we have so many awful people on there. And obviously it's not all awful. We met each other, we have a good time, but I just feel like a lot of these scandals, a lot of these problems are just exasperated and made worse by people, netizens on the internet. And I just, log out, guys. Go
Wait,
outside, breathe some fresh air, please.
Nat, you really went off on this one, and it's interesting because we usually don't do serious scandals for this one, but I'm kind of glad you did mention this because it makes me want to add to this and just say I do think something is wrong with this kind of next generation of like internet users as well, because I feel like I know that like my era, there's like a lot of people who, we had like your favorite's problematic, we had this kind of thing or whatever. But this era is like they'll cancel you just for like existing. You know what I mean? Like they will find reasons to make you a villain, and they focus on the wrong things instead of the real villains. And then they make jokes out of things that are like actually terrible, like this Jeffrey Epstein list. And I'm like, I really don't understand what's wrong with this generation, but we move. But that was so eloquently said. I think you made a lot of good points. Did you have more scandals?
No, those are
Okay.
pretty much, yeah. Like, not a lot of good has happened in the scandal. Like, not there's not a lot of like, fun
Like
stuff
the
again.
fun scandals.
Yeah, everything is just
Okay.
so depressing
So
and
serious.
awful. Yeah, like I mean, why can't we just have like random like dating scandals? I mean, I think there was a dating like a couple that was revealed, but it just wasn't that interesting to be quite honest. Like, it was kind
Instead,
of
the
boring.
scandals this year are like, do you support X side of X war? And I'm like,
Right,
Jesus, that's like a real
right.
Hmm.
issue, you know, like,
R-
but Ash,
Yeah.
do you have any scandals of the year that Nat didn't mention?
Um, I don't remember if you mentioned it or not, but I did say 50-50's entire
That
thing with
was,
their
yeah.
Yeah.
agency, just because I've never seen a group with that much like potential. Like their song, I mean, it was just there on a silver platter for their agency to like to take. You know, they just had to foster it, and it just totally just blew up in their faces. Like everybody,
See,
it just everyone just failed them. Like that
yep.
song is still being played on the internet. Like G
Ooh,
Minute said earlier, like she heard it on a, what was it, for an app,
but it was
Or an
an
ad on
ad,
a
yeah.
song,
TikTok.
an
Yeah.
ad, and yeah, people are still playing that song.
Listen, not to be, look, I'm not a company stan. I'm not. I don't stand the devil. I hate Satan, actually. But Lee Suman would not have fumbled that bag. He wouldn't have.
Nope.
Lee Suman would have did everything they would have been the only group signed to SM Entertainment. Because one thing about Lee Suman is he picks favorites. And he picks favorites from the best of the best, hence why we have Super M and groups of that nature, and why Mark and Taeyeon get all the lines in NCT. So I feel like we need to get back to an era where CEOs actually were more than just business owners. They were actually attached to the music. Now, I will say, we don't really need JYPs out here, people who, always mumbling in the background of your chat track and whatnot. But we need people who actually care about the music and the artistry and the visuals, even if they are a little bit of a control freak and
Right.
kind of got some out there ideas. At least they're trying something innovative and not just giving the reason. I truly feel like SM this past year was trash
Right.
because whatever they were doing with Lee Suman, they're not doing it anymore. That's what I feel. That's another conversation. So my scandals of the year are not actually scandals, I don't think, at least in comparison to what y'all was talking about. I have two. The first one is not okay. This ain't a scandal. This is just a public service announcement. We are not in the fifth generation yet. Okay.
We're not.
I wish y'all would shut up, stop saying that. Also, Stray Kids is a third gen group. They're not fourth gen. I don't know where that came from. You have to understand how long the generations last. You have to understand how they work. You have to understand the vibe and the theme. To me, generations change when the theme changes. So, the first gen that was like, really like Western '90s groups, but in Korea. Then the second gen was like, then there was this period of time where it's like soloists and expanded to Japan. Second gen was more of that Holly wave in Japan. Third gen was that true westernization. That's when EXO, BTS, the BAP, those groups are popping off. And then fourth gen is characterized by being hella derivative, right? To me, when I think of fourth gen, I think of trying to be third gen, but trying too hard. That's what I think of a fourth gen. We're not really in a fifth gen yet. I think we're still in that generation where people are trying too hard to be other groups. I
Yep.
think
Mm.
okay, this is for example, this is a prime example of this. And this is actually a really good example because it's an example where even though they're trying to be something else, they're kind of doing it pretty well. Espa is trying their darndest to be Blackpink. but I think they're actually doing it pretty decently well, in my personal opinion. I think that so many of these other groups are trying to be other things. Like New Jeans is really trying to be something that it's not working. Like the whole Y2K thing and people saying they invented Y2K. And I'm like, no, the people in Y2K, the people in who were popping off in the 2000s invented the 2000s. And even to them, they were a little bit derivative of the 80s. So it's like everything is a slightly reductive, but I think that the fourth gen is extremely reductive. They're all just copying each other. When BTS did Dynamite, suddenly everybody wanted to do disco. When freaking TXT did Zero by One Love Song, suddenly every boy group wanted to be a rock band. You know, it's just at this point, I think that that's what characterizes the fourth gen is sort of this lack of identity, which could explain why the award shows have been boring as HE double hockey sticks,
Uh,
and why is it that when I watch the award songs, do you know I just watched? I think I told y'all this earlier, listeners. I just watched Yeonjun from TXT do a cover of a song that just came out a couple months ago.
right.
When have you ever seen that? If you usually, back in the day with the K-pop song, like the K-pop, like our award shows, the covers were older songs. It's like a Shinhwa cover or HOT cover. How you doing a cover of a Taemin song?
I will beat you with that because Yuna from ITZY also did a cover of Jenny's "You and Me," which also was released like this year, last year, something like that.
Months
Like,
ago.
yeah, it was like the official out like single release was this year, but she'd been performing it at their concerts. Jenny actually hasn't even performed it on Music Bank, Ikigayo, nothing, nothing. So the first time that they had like a nationwide, performance of this song is a cover by Yuna from ITZY.
Oh, that is so embarrassing. That the fourth gen need to be slapped, and all of their agencies need to be slapped because that's very embarrassing to me. I feel like there is no reason why you should be covering a song that just came out.
Right.
It's not a tribute at that point. What are you tributing? What are you doing? It just came out. So I just feel like it just speaks to how reductive this generation is. And then all of like the extended 20-minute long dance breaks in the middle of chasing that feeling. Girl, I came here to listen to the song, not see you pop lock off beat.
Right.
I'm really tired of it. Like it's really annoying because I feel like in a way it's really to me not the group's fault because I just watched a video the other day of TXT recording their new album Chasing That Feeling. I watched them recording the album and I noticed that literally every word that they were saying got modified, like literally every single word. The producer would stop and be like, okay, can you sing it again in a different way? And I'm like, dang. And then I listened to Taemin do his and he would go a whole verse and not stop.
Right.
And it's different. And before you say, oh, but Jimmy, but what about, well, if you watched Michael Jackson record We Are the World, he kept stopping. No, Michael was stopping himself because he wanted perfection. He wasn't being coached by the producer that knew, to me, the producer don't have a great ear because if you did, you wouldn't auto tune the songs to death. Like I just think that like the amount of like hand holding and editing and filtering and all, it's just like everything has to be so excellent. It becomes so quote unquote flawless that it's flawed. Like it's extremely flawed. Why am I even going into this little rant? That's not a scandal. That's more like a theme. But the point is we are not in the fifth gen and we won't be in the fifth gen until I can see a group that stops being reductive. I don't know who that group is gonna be. Maybe it'll be TAN since did they just debut? Nope, they've been debuted. I don't know. I don't know who the group is gonna be. Somebody who needs to debut and do something different. Okay, that's my first one. My second one is also not really a scandal, but it is kind of a scandal because it was really funny. So anybody who knows TXT, y'all know Subin. Y'all know Subin's the leader, but he's not the oldest. He's the second oldest. He's also very tall. He's like 6'1", 6'2". And it always shocks people because they're like, oh, but he's so coordinated and all these things. He's so funny. Subin is crazy, y'all. Tell me why he was on, I think, like Live, one of the live apps, Weaver, something like that. And he was like, you know what confuses me? I forgot exactly how he said it, but he was like, did he say this on the live? I don't know exactly. Oh, look, I was reading the transcript. So I feel like the words he used was so funny, but he was like, it confuses me how y'all like there be these groups that be talking about, f all my ops, and they be beefing with people, and they be like, y'all ain't got nothing on me, and like all my haters out here, I got all these haters. And Sue been like, how you gonna have haters when you ain't even debuted yet? And I just was like, it just really resonated with me because it took me back to how BTS used to have hella songs about having haters. And I'm like, but y'all Nugu. Like, how you have haters and don't nobody even know who you are? So I thought that was very funny. And the whole like MOA fandom was talking about it. And they were like, he right though. Like, why do all of these Nugu groups be talking about their haters and they don't have haters? It's just like cringy. Like,
Yeah.
and I never thought I would hear an idol be like, "It's that's so cringy." Like his whole thing was like, "It's just cringy. It's just like cheesy and corny. Like do something else."
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my favorite thing of 2023. I thought that was great.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
think of what else were like positives, because I do want to end this like more positive than negative, because it did get kind of serious now that I'm thinking back to
it got very
what
serious.
yeah, yeah.
We do
Uh,
have the add your own
mhm.
category, which I think it might be not that serious. Can I?
Okay, well
Do we
maybe
want to
like
do
what
that?
do you guys think is like, well, what do you guys think would was the most positive thing to come out of K-pop in 2023?
Mm.
Wow, TXT. No, I'm kidding. Probably people finally realizing that 17 is a really talented group, because I feel like a lot of people really slept on them because they weren't as like successful as some of the other top third gen boy groups when it came to chart
Mm.
success. But for some reason, they just popped completely off in 2023 to the point where like the Korean general public is knows them.
Okay.
um and I'm happy for them because I feel like they, after NCT, they have the second strongest vocals of the third gen. Oh no, the third strongest vocals. Well, okay, depends on how you consider NCT, but I think that like it's basically like this: EXO is at the very top, and then there's a
Yes.
giant wall, and then there's NCT, and and then there's a slight wall, and then there's 17, and then there's a giant wall, and then there's everybody else, and at the very bottom of that list is probably BTS. So
Yeah,
when it
I
comes
would
to
agree.
vocals,
I would agree. Okay, so one thing I would say is a very positive is that we're continuing to see these, older gen groups and idols and things like that continue to charge ahead and make their own agencies and do their own comebacks. I mentioned Infinite, but VIX also had a comeback this year that was, pretty good. I wouldn't say it's outstanding like in terms of like VIX's general quality, but I thought it was a pretty solid comeback. And so I kind of like, and that's continuing. It's like they're not putting a stop to these idols, because we know, and with the 50-50 thing, like they're trying to start a law or legislate a law to like prevent companies from being taken advantage from the people, trainees, I guess, and idols that are assigned to them, which is very crazy because we know where the power is in that relationship. But anyways, it's good to see that people are still trying to, or still successfully able to be independent after their youth has run out. Because it's not it's not talent that has run out, guys, or passion or anything like that. It's their youth has run out, so that's why they're not trending anymore. But it's always good to see older people still making music and still being passionate about it and still wanting to promote and do the same things that they've been doing for like 10, 15, sometimes even 20 years, in the case of like TVXQ. And so I think that's really good. We're going to see Sistar next year, this year, 2024. Sistar 19 is coming back, which is exciting as well too.
and
And
also to see them be relatively successful when they come back too.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. And one thing I will say is that, there's a lot of not great things that has come out of this whole Western expansion, like in terms of, English releases, things like that. But I think not being so dependent on the Korean market and sometimes even just like the East Asian market is great for some groups who are now able to like tour and make music based on their international fan base.
Yep.
I think that's like a one of the very like one of the best aspects of like K-pop right now is that groups that I loved in the past that didn't have Korean support that and eventually had to like disband, like Dal Shabet, Nine Muses, like they would have I definitely feel that they would have been able to continue a little bit longer if they had something set up for them to tour and to utilize the Western support. Just looking at the way that GOT7 continues to make music individually because they have support from an international community, not just Korea, is I think it's a positive as well too. So
Wait, can
I
I
mean,
add something
Card
to
would not
that?
be. Yeah, yeah. Well, I just want to say lastly,
Sorry,
Card would
yeah,
not
yeah, go ahead, go
exist
ahead.
to this extent if it wasn't for the international community. And Card, is still able to do what they're doing. So it's not just like, Luna was able to do that as well too for as long as they were. And just like
Yep.
it's a good thing. So yeah. What about you?
Just one thing I want to add to that is, in the same vein, it's also really, really good to see idols decoupling their musical representation from other things, like Dio decoupling his representation for EXO from like his acting
Yes.
career. I think
Yes.
that like stuff like that is so smart, and it really kind of started with GOT7 to me. I mean, maybe other people did it before, but like for the most part, I feel like a lot of groups still did the one stop shop model. But then GOT7 was like, or you could just still do the idol thing, but like also have separate representation for all of your activities, which is important so that like your company doesn't have a monopoly over you. I really like that, and I think that's going to be actually a trend going forward.
Yeah, I definitely
Mm.
like I agree because I don't think the music agency that signed you should be the one also managing your acting career or your modeling career. I don't think that that makes sense. I think you want to sign with an agency that deals with models. You want to sign with an agency that deals with actors. That's why a lot of times after the 7 years, a lot of these idols leave their company because they want to do other things, but they can't you can't promote or you can't get roles more so is the idea because like SM for example, was more focused on making music because it's a music agency, right? And company. And obviously they have actors signed there too, right? But they don't have the prestige in the acting space to get roles. And also because they were so focused on the music, they would turn down, like Sohyun had said, like they had turned down roles that she wanted because she like it was more important for her to tour or to have be there for this comeback or whatnot or prepare for a comeback than it was there's not like that balance that you need with when you're juggling multiple careers in that same way. And so that's why it's important to have different agencies taking care of different things. Or maybe it's like you don't want to be an idol more. You just do it because it keeps you relevant, but you really don't want to be a part of that anymore. So, maybe it's a good thing you just move to an acting agency, move to a modeling agency, do that instead. And I think it's like really important to focus, like to be where the work is and the work
Hmm.
that's relevant to your interests. It's not just about making money. Obviously, that's important, but it should also be about doing what you like and being able to have the roles that you want if you want to be an actor or make the music that you want if you're a musician. Like I just don't think that one stop shop is going to work for that for much longer. So
Yep. Ash, do you have anything positive?
I think y'all covered it pretty succinctly.
Cool, because I have something to say.
yeah.
Okay.
Y'all know I always got something to say. Okay, I want to add my own topics and categories going forward. So the first one I want to add is black people popping up all over Korean media.
Yeah.
Because one, obviously we have the queen Fatu, who just actually had another scandal, but it's not a bad scandal. It's actually one where like I'm like people are really respecting her, but basically she said that BTS were real rappers, and I guess Blackpink stands took offense to that for no reason at all. Literally no
What?
reason. They just took offense. They just were
Right.
like, "Oh, so you're saying that Jenny is bad?" And I was like, "Shit, maybe she is bad. I don't know." The way listen, but either way, the reason why I said it's a good thing is because at least armies are not harassing her. Instead, they're commenting under her posts, talking about how pretty she is, how talented she is, and I think she deserves that respect. I think she's hella funny, and I think she is very beautiful and talented. So
Yes.
but yeah, I wanted to say, yeah, black people popping over. So obviously Fatu, and then there's that one. Okay, this one is weird. There's this new interviewer that has just popped off on YouTube. It's this black guy that's just interviewing all the idols. But like the thing that I don't like about it, is like the interviews seem like the vibe of it is like very very casual to the point where it feels like there's like the things the idols say to him they would never say to a Korean interviewer that of his same age. Like they just say things that just sound really disrespectful. And I guess for me too, because it's like in Korea, it's such a respect culture and it's such like an honorific culture to where if you're not calling him like you're not calling this guy, I mean, you wouldn't call him Hyungmin, but something like that. Instead, you're just calling him by his name. Or or you just like talking to him with like just this level of like familiarity that feels disrespectful to me. And it feels like you
Mm,
wouldn't do that if he was not a black man. And if his whole shtick wasn't like, I think his shtick is like a comedy thing, but still, it's y'all don't get that buck wild even with the Korean comedians. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So y'all have to watch him to know what I'm talking about. I haven't really watched a full episode, but from the clips I've seen, he did one with NCT and he did one with TXT, and I didn't like the way that either of the groups was speaking to him. And I didn't. And granted, he could be okay with it, but it still felt weird. It's like why is Korea making this type of content pop off for Black people when they could have a serious Black interviewer pop off? It's weird.
Right. Is that the
Also,
one with him and his sister? Because I know that there was like this. I think they're African. I'm not sure where in Africa they're from. Probably like Ghana, Nigeria. That's where I assume that they're from. I don't know, but I know that
oh,
they were really popular as well, and they did do some interview. They interview people. I just like honestly, I've never watched an interview. I usually don't watch a lot of these interviews like that just
me
randomly pop
either,
up,
but
but I did see that him and his sister were like interviewing people who were pretty popular like in the K-pop space. So I just yeah, I wasn't sure if that's who you're referring to, but I did notice like there were newer black faces like outside of like Sam, and like Fatu.
yes.
So I do like that, there are more people. Honestly, I don't know the context of even the interview that I'm mentioning or the interviewers that I'm mentioning, but yeah,
I
I
know the
do.
guy you're talking about with the sister because I remember they were saying that people really liked him because he tends to make the people he's interviewing feel really comfortable and stuff. So,
Mm,
and and he speaks fluent Korean, obviously, and so yeah,
Okay,
I
maybe
could
he
see.
does have a sister because I think Jonathan and Patricia is what came up when I like try to when I Google his name with KBS. And maybe that's what it is. He just makes the idols feel comfortable. If that's the case, then that's fine. But it do seem I don't know, if you just see it from like first glance, it looks like really bad. Like it to me it gives a bad impression. And I don't like. But once again, I'm not gonna complain on behalf of people who if that's kind of his vibe, if he's just one of those like unserious interviewers, then that's fine. But like, and it does seem like he is unserious, but like I don't know, maybe just I'm just extra sensitive because I'm like it just feel like they're kind of taking advantage of his jovial nature and
yeah.
treating him in a way they wouldn't treat a Korean comedian. You know?
Okay. Oh, he's from Congo. So it is Jonathan. So Jonathan, it's the show. I guess it's called Jonathan's Home or Welcome to Jonathan's Home. Oh no, wait, no, or maybe that's something else. I don't know. But yeah, so they have interviewed people like Sunmi and Schumann from EXO and like, which is pretty big actually, and they are pretty popular. It's apparently I was looking like when I googled him on he was on Asian Boss 4 years ago, and the title is Congo Prince, the most popular black teen in Korea.
So maybe that's why they're okay. If he's younger than them, then maybe that's why they're not like
Being super
talking to
strict.
him with the respect, you know. Okay, I didn't okay, I probably should have done more research before I said that, but still the point still stands. Like if it does, well, I kind of want to Google him now just to make sure, but I don't know his name. It's just Jonathan Congo
Yeah.
Prince. Okay, Jonathan Tony Yombi. He's Congolese Korean.
Oh.
Really?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, he is young though, but he's still older than the idols that he had been interviewing. So they could have called him young. And I don't remember hearing that. Like he's very young. He's 23, even though he looked
Oh, he is
43.
very young.
But
Yeah.
for some context, Huening Kai is 21. So either way he would have still called him young.
Right. Right. Right.
Right? You see what I'm
Maybe.
saying?
Maybe like before the interview, he tells them to just be really chill. I
Chill.
mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. Like we don't like. I
We
don't
don't
know
know, we're just
exactly what
guessing.
happens.
Yeah.
It's just like in Korea, Oh, so I guess his parents lived there and they were on a show, like a variety show or whatever, that showed their life, and they got the positive feedback from there. And then after that, he kind of built on that platform. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I do feel a little hesitant sometimes when I see Black people get sort of celebrity status in a lot of these countries, because I know just like it's literally could take anything for them to be turned on. Like we saw it with Sam.
Yep.
So I would be worried about that as well too. But
It's like this guy's the new Sam, you know? It kinda gives that
right,
vibe. But
right.
anyway,
So
so
yeah.
the next category I wanna add is plastic surgery gone too far or gone wrong because I don't know if it's surgery or if it's just diet culture for him, but like, all of a sudden, like, the past month or so, or, like, yeah, about the past month or a little bit more than that, maybe a couple months, Yeonjun has, like, the I can show you a picture later, but, like, the skin around his face is so tight, like, he looks so skinny, almost to the point where he looks like a bobblehead, but it don't look like weight loss skinny, it looks like buccal fat removal skinny.
Sounds popular
And it's so popular, it looks gross to me personally. I shouldn't say people's plastic surgery looks gross, but I don't care. I'm tired of like I feel like we've been trying to do the whole like body positivity and it's okay to get cosmetic surgery and it is, it's like that makes you feel good, gender affirmation, whatever. But sometimes it do get scary. And sometimes it does get to the point where it's like, what kind of precedent is this setting for other people?
And I will piggyback on that to bring more of a Western spin. It's like BBLs. BBLs literally could kill you, and
Yeah.
yet it's so widespread. And it doesn't like personally, I don't think they look good. Like that's just my personal preference. I would never do that to my body. I don't see a point in doing it, to be quite honest. But also, I just feel like I've never really seen a good one, to be quite honest.
Mhm.
Even like from the really rich, like when all the Kardashians had them, I just never thought it looked good. So that's just my personal preference on the situation. But I mean, I've been very honest with like saying that I've had to unfollow certain Korean celebrities on IG because it was just becoming too uncanny valley. Like I can like it is a problem like when you can pinpoint an era for a celebrity, not on their hair color or like your haircut or anything like that, but on how their face looked. Like I think that's
Yep.
strange. I
Yep.
personally think that's strange. Sue me. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. Obviously, like there's a lot of pressure to look good, quote unquote,
Mhm.
in Korea, and there's a lot of pressure to be perfect, and there's a lot of pressure to be as skinny as possible. So like these are all problems, clearly, yes. But I just don't like I just feel like so many people are taking it and seeing how these celebrities look and then they're applying it to themselves, and it's like you're not a celebrity. You do not need to look perfect in 4K. But also we live in a digital era where your camera, your phone literally will take your picture and automatically apply filters to it.
Yep.
So there is it's like a bigger, it's not just like, you know, Koreans
Oh,
and
yeah,
plastic surgery, or
definitely
like
not.
Black people and or people in the hip hop world for the most part, and BBLs. It's like this digital online image that everybody wants to have. They want to look perfect. They don't want their flaws to be present. I'm like, this also ties back to touch some grass, guys. When you outside and you touch grass, you see people for real. Like you see their face, you see
Mhm.
pigmentation marks, you see maybe regular eyelashes. One thing I will say, I know I'm a hater, but I just don't understand why regular people on a regular basis have, fake eyelashes. I don't understand that. Like, why? What is the purpose of all this? Who?
Mhm.
Like, it's just too much. Like, I think that we are literally in a too much era when it comes to looks and,
Yep.
the idea of perfection. And
I just posted the pictures, by the way, of, like, what he looks like recently,
yeah.
the last 2 links, and then Imma post one more link of what he used to look like. Sorry, but
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah, but yeah, I just like to tie it all together, that has been my major issue. Like I remember, I think last year or something like that, when I found out that there was a TikTok dedicated to like Momo's body. because there's that really infamous video, like a live stream that they did, where Momo said like she was going to get kicked out as a trainee or something like that if she didn't lose all this weight. And so she literally went on a water diet, but it was like she sparingly drank water.
That's
And like
crazy.
the whole point of it was that she did it. She did the hard work and she stayed there. And now she's in twice. And people take that story and they're like, okay, well, maybe it's worth it because look at what she's able to accomplish with it. I'm like, okay, but you know what happens to your body when you starve yourself and when you only put water in it and like sparingly put water in it? Your your organs literally start to die after a while. Like it's just like, guys, viewers, I mean, we make fun of BTS a lot, but the whole idea of loving yourself and just like meeting yourself where you are is very important. Do not allow this social media stuff to make you feel like you're not enough, that you're not pretty enough, you're not rich enough, you're not talented enough. Honestly, sometimes the best anybody can do is to exist.
Also, I want to
Exist.
add that the lead that okay, this is a hot take, but I feel like our unironically BTS is probably the like one of the least sliced up groups outside of like RM. I
Yeah.
really do feel like they're the ones who like I think they realized, J Hope was like, this is just the shape of my skull. He was just like, listen, there ain't no surgery for that one. So, and listen, I'm just saying they are kind of one of the least sliced and diced. But yeah, I just posted like the pictures of Yeonjun, and I'm just kind of disappointed not in him because I think that anytime you see stuff like that, like I think of like Bomb, right? I think that
Mhm.
like what do you have to be going through for somebody to convince you that like you should do that? Like
Yeah.
what do you have to be going through? And clearly, I think Bomb definitely went through something.
Oh,
um
absolutely.
and any idol whose face is like just drastically different than and you can say, oh, it's because they grow up and blah, blah blah, but no, you can't really say that with Tomorrow by Together, because for example, if you look at Subin has lost a lot of his baby fat. He still looks the same. He's
Yeah.
probably the least cut up out of all of TXT. But Yeonjun was least cut up, but then just this past year, I don't know what happened. He just like went crazy with either the weight loss or the doctor visit. So,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely love yourself. These things can be irreversible because you might decide in a year from now you don't want to look like that no more.
Right. And the thing is, like, guys, once again, in the real world with people, like, no, there's no such thing as perfection. Like the way that you see these idols when they're on award shows, when they're on Inkigayo, when they're in a music video, that's not how they look at home. Like that's like they also have off days. They get pimples like everybody else. They feel like bloated and all that kind of stuff. Like this image that you see of like idols and like actors and dramas and any celebrity anywhere in the world, that's just what they look when cameras are on, and when these 4K cameras specifically are on, and they're getting Getty images, and when people look at them and criticize them, you
And
know
like the whole glass skin thing, the only person I've ever seen in glass skin in real life was this old lady that I saw today. She had some true glass skin, but I ain't never seen it from even people I know who are like straight up models. And people who I know who are popular and famous on the internet. In real life, they don't have glass skin, y'all. That's the filters. I'm telling you, it really is the filters.
Absolutely. And
Like,
also, just like, it's so important for, okay, shoot, I totally lost my train of thought as I was speaking. Oh no.
sorry.
Oh no, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's my
And I
brain.
know you was about to get right in the pocket too, because you was gearing up. You was revving up.
Yeah, I can't remember what
Well,
it was
while you're
going
thinking of it, I want to say the last category I want to add next year.
to. Sure.
The last category I want to add is the best performance, because I
Whoa,
watching
category.
that Taemin move, boy, I was like, that would have been the best performance of the year. The only performance that I think was almost as good as that is we need to bring back boy groups doing older female idol really sensual and girly
Yeah.
choreography. I'm not just talking about doing it to be funny or doing it and it's like and the choreography is like hyper masculine. Like, for example, like a lot of the fourth gen girl groups have like NCT choreography, so it's like not that subversive. I'm talking about like when Taemin released Move, that's kind of a girl group choreography. People don't realize that. That's like a boa choreography, okay? I feel like TXT, they did a choreography this year. Did y'all see it?
Which one?
They did a shoot, what award show was it? TXT performance. I forgot what it was called. They were dressed in red. Hold on, I'm gonna pull it
Oh,
up for y'all.
while you're doing that, I'll remember what I was going to say.
Oh,
Okay.
go ahead.
What I was going to say is that it's really important for you guys to remember that, like, if you're chasing validity from other people, there's no such thing as getting a universal, approval. So, like, you're always going to have people who are criticizing you, who are hating on you, regardless of how you look. You could be the best looking person on the planet, and people will still be like, well, actually, like, your nose is too flat, your eyes are too this, your forehead is too this. So I just, like, at the end of the day, you have to make sure that you love yourself and that you meet yourself where you are. Because, there's only certain things that are even possible with plastic surgery at this point,
Truer
not
words have
everything's
never been
possible.
spoken. Okay,
So that's what I want to
I
say.
have it on the watch together, the performance I'm talking about.
Okay.
I
Oh,
do want y'all to watch
Invitation.
it.
I
Yes,
love that song.
Invitation. I don't know whose song it is though.
It's a JYP wrote the song.
Shiny did something like this back in the day too, and if you notice, all of the guys have their nails painted, and I wish they would have gone all the way and just like worn skirts. Taemin wore a skirt
Junhwa.
recently,
It's Junhwa. Who's that's the song.
but I mean, just like I just feel like it's so like I don't know, it's just so cool. Like I just like watching it. I think it's interesting. I think that it's subversive and it needs to be done. We need to normalize it. Especially with a group that's like TXT, right? So but anyway, so yeah, watch this in full when you get a chance. Look at them. You can't
I
tell
actually
me.
really like the song. Like, it's one of those, like, timeless tracks, I think, personally. No, I agree. I can't remember who all was in it, but they did, boy groups members did a cover of something by Girls Day, and it wasn't like a jokey one. Like, they dressed the part, right?
Mhm.
I know Max from TVXQ was in it, but I can't remember TVXQ. But, like, if you know something by Girls Day, it's like very sexual. It's very sensual, like this song.
Mhm.
So it's one of those things where yeah, it was just really cool because, most of these boy groups, like, or like, I guess, masculinity, people who are really buy into, like, the whole masculinity thing, like, they would not want to do something like this because they feel like it's quote unquote gay, or, like, whatever. And it's like, if you're so, like, for me, if you're so confident in your quote unquote masculinity, however you define it, you're not gonna care. Like, doing it, none of this is gonna affect it, right? You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Well, I enjoyed this is probably the longest one we've done. I enjoyed it. It was great. We had a good time. 2023 was definitely a year of all time. And I can't wait to see what 2024 has in store for us. So thank you
Yeah,
for being
Yay.
with us for another year, and we look forward to another year with you. Closing
we do.
remarks. Closing remarks.
Just, I'm grateful for you guys, and I'm grateful for our listeners. Thank you for sticking with us. We also have a Patreon. Obviously, very tough times, guys. But if you have $3 a month to spare, you can help us buy mics and things that keep us being able to do this without, any issues. So if you have it to spare, please do sign up for our Patreon. And why I like the Patreon idea instead of just like straight donations is that we actually make content on our Patreon. There's like hundreds of videos on there at this point. So I don't think you'd be bored, of us and just of the content on there, because it's like a lot of different things, conversations, album reviews, whatnot. We watch Thai dramas on there. I think you guys would have, like, if you enjoy our podcast, I think you would enjoy that as well too, and you get to help us. If you can't donate, please, please, please share, us with other people who you think would be interested in us. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to us. I think I guess I'll do it now. You know, we're on Twitter at NYAN Netizens, on Facebook and Instagram at Not Your Average Netizens. You can email us anytime at notyouraveragenetizens@gmail.com. If you're a patron of us, you can contact us on Patreon as well. All right, that's all I have to say. You guys?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
Nothing. Happy New Year to
Happy New Year.
to Gojo and everybody else.
Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye.